All right. What's up, folks? Welcome to Tuesday Night Live on 10 Horse Money Fishing YouTube channel. JB's on his way. He's gonna be running a little bit late, which is typical for the evening. Most overrated lure. I thought that was kind of fun. Whopper plopper. Man, I've thrown the whopper plopper a little bit. I've caught more fish on that little. I think it's the 75 series. It's a smaller one. I've thrown the Chapo a little bit. I just don't. Me personally, that time of the year in the fall when I would be throwing it, I'm throwing the like a toad of some sort, typically covering water with a like that Stanley top toad or that Spro flapping frog. That just seems to be my go-to, or even a buzz bait. And a lot of that's because of where we live. We got a lot more grass around here. So that whopper plopper, you don't go through grass very good. It's a pain in the whatever rhymes with grass. So I just throw that toad. Phil says, don't know if there's an overrated lure. Each has its time and place. Yeah, I think almost every lure out there, you can catch a fish on it in the right time, in the right place, like you said, Phil. So you've seen baits. Don't think you catch fish in a Bass Pro Shops tank. Yeah, you know what, man? I remember I don't know if you guys know this, but like years and years and years ago, I think Roland Martin was advertising or was promoting some helicopter lure. I'm pretty sure it was Roland Martin. Correct me if I'm wrong, which doesn't surprise me because Scott Martin, I used to watch the Scott Martin fishing channel quite a bit, probably like around the same time I started my YouTube channel. So 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And he did some kind of men's body gel shower stuff one time. He was doing like the travel, kind of like a pocket rocket, like a travel fishing pole, but you know, whatever. But then when he did that, he came out of the bathroom with some kind of men's shower gel. I'm like, I'm done. That was a little bit too much. I mean, I understand, like, you know, making that cheddar, but sometimes you go just a little bit too far. So I don't know if I can't remember if that was Roland Martin that did the helicopter lure, but I remember the helicopter lure. That's kind of a gimmicky, but I did catch about a 5-pound bass on a farm pond on it one time. That's the only bass I ever caught. Only bite I ever got on it. I know a lot of people like the banjo minnow was a gimmick, but banjo minnow worked. It did work. What's up, Darius? Oh, smallmouth slayer. Man, I'm going to get up there north sometime soon. Not yet. Not yet. I live in Missouri. But okay, I'll just kind of break down what's going on this evening. I wasn't going to do a live stream. I reached out to a couple of guests, and everybody's really busy right now. There's been a lot of tournaments going on. There's conventions and just things of this and that nature. And I just kind of decided, yeah, I'm just going to kind of take the night off. But then as I'm working, I'm like, you know what? I hit 10,000 subs not too terribly long ago, and it's all because of the people that are watching this right now, the people that watch the videos. So we are going to give away some stuff tonight, folks. We're going to give away some stuff. I think I've got like 5 different giveaways that we're going to do. We're going to do a couple Baitworks gift cards tonight. We're going to do a big Cumberland Pro Lures package. I went through my boat and I just kind of pulled out a bunch of certain things and put them in bags. So we got a big Cumberland Pro Lures. We got a pretty decent Hawgz Custom Baits giveaway coming up. Titty's Jig Works. He just reached out to me a while ago and he offered to give away $100 worth of product off the shelf. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this proper tonight. And then Evolve fishing sleeves. They make one of the best rod sleeves out there. They're super, super nice. So we're going to be giving away 2 of those tonight. They reached out to me a while back and sent me some to try out myself, and they sent some extras for a giveaway, and I've been sitting on them waiting for the right night, and that's what's going to happen tonight. I mean, I'm not expecting a big crowd in here tonight because we don't have a guest, but tonight ain't about having a big crowd. It's about giving back to the people that show up tonight, which is kind of why I didn't really, really try to blow it up on social media. I just want like the true folks to come up in here and and hang out, talk fishing. And that's kind of what we're going to do. It's just going to be open format. You can ask any questions and I'll give you whatever answers and share information amongst us all, but kind of got to wait on JB. I did get my motor fixed though. I don't know if anybody watched the last couple videos. I've been having motor problems. I've got a Hawgz 99 and it was at Kincaid. I think it's been like 3 weeks ago or something like that. And I ran all the way. Oh yeah, please share. I like the stream. I appreciate that. And here's another thing. I'll get back to the motor here in a second. But these companies that I just mentioned, Cumberland Pro Lures, Titties Jigs Works, Hawgz Custom Baits, Evolve Fishing, Bahio is another company that has supported me. They make some phenomenal sunglasses. The rose mirror has been a lens that I've fell in love with, and several people have bought them that I know, and they absolutely love them. Look for those to go on sale at certain times of the year. I don't have a discount code on them. I think they're working on it, but go to their Facebook pages or their Instagram pages and just like them. Just help them out. Just support the people that support us. It's a big deal. I mean, it's one of those things that just takes 30 seconds. But do me a favor and go check out their pages and just give them a like. So the motor, it was all the way. Anybody that's on here is familiar with Kincaid. You can run all the way from the main marina to the other end, and there's a no wake area. And it's about, I'd say it's about 3 miles. I don't know if anybody on here knows or not, but I'm gonna say it's about 3 miles. What's up, Jermaine? Enjoyed this stream last night. What was his name? Tweezy? Dude, it was fun. So anyway, I get all the way down there. I'm running down the lake and it starts going, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, man, what is going on? So luckily I'm in a John boat, right? So I can just pop the little hatch and kind of, mess with the gas tank, and it's pretty accessible. That's one thing about a 10 boat is it's an open platform for the most part. I can get to just about everything. So I pump it up, and I actually over pumped it up, and I flooded the motor out. So then the wind was blowing like 20 miles an hour. It's blowing me back into this cove with a bunch of standing timber in it. So it's kind of towards the end of the day too, and I need to change out my trolling motor batteries. So I was kind of concerned about having enough trolling motor juice to pull me up and into the actual no wake, which would have been out of the wind. So long story short, I got over there, got my motor started again, but every time I would run for like 10 or 15 seconds, it would die. It would do. So what I had to do is I had to pop my back hatch and have one hand on the tiller, another hand on the gas, on the bulb. And about every 5 to 6 seconds, I would pump that bulb. So I ran all the way back at like 20 miles an hour. I guess it was 3 miles or so, all the way back to the boat ramp. And JB's on his way. And I made it back, and that's all good. And then, so I made a couple phone calls, and some people were saying, well, you need to change your fuel. Maybe your fuel line is bad. Maybe your bulb's not, pushing fuel through the line like it's supposed to. Cause there wasn't anything leaking in my fittings or anything. So I couldn't find locally, the right fuel line, and Hawgz wanted like $130 something for the fuel line, which is insane. So I bought one for like $50, cut the fittings off, and, put the little C clamps on and got it going. I went out to the lake a couple days later, same thing. I'm like, oh, great. It's not that it wasn't the gas cap. You've got that pressure release valve that you open up, and just so air can come in and push the fuel through the line. But long story short, it was the fuel pump. So I went down to King Marine. Anybody in the Cape Girardeau, Missouri area? King Marine has been good to me over the years. They're close. Sean and Leo, they do good work. They've always done me right. Reasonable prices, and they'll take care of you down there. So I went and got my motor today. I dropped it off. I think it was last Wednesday. They put a new fuel pump in it, some couple different seals that were leaking. I had a fuel filter that I guess from pumping it so much, it had blown out some kind of seal around the fuel filter. So I had some gas leaking, and they went ahead and changed out the actual oil and the lower unit fluid in the filter. So I kind of just got a big tune up. I didn't get plugs in it because I think it still runs. So I got it back. Run my Mel uniform. You know, anytime you grab an outboard motor, and those things are freaking heavy. I mean, it's not you just pick them up and keep them out away from you. You kind of got to get in there tight, because I don't know what they weigh, but it seems like it's at least 100 pounds. It's a taxing thing to pick up. So I got oil all over my mailman shirt and my shorts. I sprayed the stain reliever stuff on there and washed them all good. But basically, I ruined the shirt. But I got it back on the boat, and so we're going to hopefully take it out Thursday and see if they got it all fixed. Yep, I was all the way back in Johnson Creek. Pretty good little jaunt down there. Let me see what else we got on here. As soon as JB shows up, we'll start talking a little more fishing and give the stuff away. This is a cool time of the year, guys. Yeah, let me see here. Somebody's got a question about the Bahios. Get this computer up here. Yeah, Darius, they do. They make them in glass. They have the polycarbonate, I guess, and then the glass. I've got the glass. I've got a couple of sets of the glass. They make, like I said, the rose lens has been my favorite. That lens is multifunctional. It works really good on bright sunny days, but it's not so dark that you can't use it on like overcast and cloudy days. And it's really good for guys that have like live scope and are reading their graphs a lot. It takes, I think it's the blue light that it takes a lot of the blue light out. I'm not 100% sure on this, but all I know is you can read your graphs really good. It doesn't dull it out. And as far as looking in the water, stuff pops. They're good. They're really good, solid. They're really good, solid shades. I can promise you that. I've got the violet. I got a set of the violet too, which is really good on overcast days. They call it like the happy lens, because it takes a kind of that overcast and dreary day and makes it really happy. And it is cool. And I've let everybody in my family check them out, and they're kind of blown away, because, you know, if you get a pair of good sunglasses, the definition is what you notice. It makes everything it's just like HD. It's high def, and the colors kind of pop out. I mean, you can buy cheaper sunglasses, and they're decent. Though, you know, they work okay, but a really good pair of sunglasses, you get what you pay for, I guess, is what I'm saying, up to a point. So yeah, as I was saying, this is that time of year where things starting to change. You know, April, we had a pretty heavy spawn around here. And May, we're still going to get a good spawn. I'm talking, you know, Southern Illinois and this part of Missouri. You know, like Dion always says, the biggest spawn, like the Ozarks, is in May. But we had a pretty good spawn around here in April. There were quite a few fish up on the bed. So, I mean, there's going to be some more coming. But I'm already starting to see some fish moving out a little bit, setting up in some of these spots. And that's kind of the change that's going to happen. We've been really used to you know, fishing really shallow, and you can still do that. That's still going to play. But as the season goes on, your biggest concentrations of fish start kind of filtering out, and it becomes more evened out. I'd say in the peak of spawn, you're going to have a bunch of bucks up there, a bunch of females. You're going to have, let's just throw a number out there, maybe 70% of the fish, of the bass in your lake will be in 8 foot of water or less. So that's a high concentration of fish. That's why we're so successful in the spring at kind of going down the bank and throwing a variety of baits and getting right. It's because there's a large concentration of fish up there in that depth zone. But as spring wears on and moves into early summer, the water temperatures start getting up into the 70s, which is what we're having right now. The fish spawn. There's fry garters that are always going to be up there shallow. You got bluegill. You know, bluegill are making beds right now, crappie and stuff. And so there's going to be fish that are focusing, hanging around those bluegill beds, which is a really good pattern. Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you've got those fish kind of hanging around, but you also got some of those bigger females that have spawned that will start moving out and resting. There's been a lot of pressure on those bigger fish. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that goes out, fair weather fisherman, or any fisherman for that matter, is sitting there casting at them. Their boat's on top of them. They're just getting a lot of pressure. So a lot of those bigger fish will move out of the shallows and get out pretty deep. They'll get out deeper than what you think. And they can just kind of rest up. They'll start becoming shad chasers. They'll start moving around and following the shad. You got a shad spawn that's been kind of happening off and on. I don't know anything about shad spawn really, as far as I haven't really gotten into it. I've hit it a couple times over the years, but I'm certainly not someone that can run the shad spawn.
You don't get there early enough for shad spawn.
No, I don't get there early enough for shad spawn. That's for sure. I get on the lake about 10 o'clock. It's long gone by then. But so you got these fish that are starting to make a transition. They're starting to move out deeper to rest. Some of the fish will still stay shallow, and they get in really heavy stuff and then become sluggish. They'll get in the same spawning close to where they spawned. If there is a big laydown tree or a little rock pile or a little brush pile just out a little bit deeper, they'll probably hunker down in that and just kind of rest. Not all the fish move really deep. Some of them will stay in the general vicinity, but a lot of them will move deep. And then if they start seeing the shad moving by, they start following the shad, and that's kind of the early spring pattern. So a lot of that is going on right now. There's just a little bit of mix of everything. And then we've been having a ton of storms. So that keeps a lot of the fish active up shallow as well. The water's got a little bit of stain in it now. The lake levels have went up. We're just kind of starting to, dude, we're going to give away some stuff tonight, bro.
Are we?
Oh yeah. We're going to give away some stuff tonight.
Did you pick a number? Do I gotta guess?
No, we're doing we're going to do the generator thing, I guess.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to do that a couple times. Yeah, Sean from Titty's Jig Works just hit me up a while ago, and he's going to pitch in $100 worth.
Are you kidding me?
Merchandise
That's
off
awesome.
of the shelf. Yeah, I got 2 Evolve rod sleeves.
That sucks. I literally grabbed.
Nice,
I grabbed
man.
this hat and I grabbed my
Titty's
Jig Works hat.
Yeah, I had it, but I thought you would wear it. So,
Yeah.
so I just wore the VO, you know.
Oh man.
But yeah, I almost need to bring like 2 hats, and then I grabbed quite a few Cumberland Pro Lures,
Sweet
things, and then we got some Hawgz baits. So we're just gonna give away.
Well, that means we got to share the stream, get it up to,
pump it up, man, pump it up.
75, 80,000 people.
Yeah, but like I told you earlier, I wasn't planning on doing a live stream, and then I texted you, and I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing just like you and I just kind of hanging out with the crew.
We haven't done that in a
talking
while.
fishing, no, and then do some giveaway stuff because, I just hit 10,000 subs not too long ago, so it's time to
he's just gotta
shoot,
go
yeah,
back.
right. No, it's just, but it is time to show some appreciation for all these people.
I love it. So
And we got a lot of good guests coming up too.
I heard you got your motor back, and then my
I did.
phone cut out. Well, no, I heard that, and Darius was asking about glasses. That was the last I heard.
Yeah, and then we were just kind of talking about how this time of year is. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Here's a question. This is the first question of the night from Andy. Tips on fishing flooded lake water. I noticed I was looking at the TVA app last night, and Kentucky Lake is at 361. So you know what that means?
Means it's in the
It means
bushes.
it's really in the bushes. And when that happens, you got to go shallow. That's 20-pound tests.
Well, hold on. Shallow is one key of it, but you got to get all the way there, right?
That's true.
You can't stop halfway there because you're in shallow water. Those fish are going to go to the bank, to the edge.
Yep.
Unless you're a live scope genius, like they were the NPFL, couple tournaments ago, when the water was so high,
Mhm.
muddy.
Yeah.
But typically you got to find the bank. I would say that would be shallow and the edge. I know we fish. It reminds me of Ren.
That's
right?
exactly what I was thinking with Ren.
Like guys win because they can get all the way to the bank because there's thousands upon thousands of acres of flooded timber that's in 3 to 4 foot of water, but you don't catch much there. It's hard to break it down. You got to get all the way to the edge. You got to get to an edge.
Yeah, bass always like an edge.
Whether it's rock transitions, whether it's hard edges, there's got to be an edge.
Yeah. So even in that scenario like we were talking about with Kentucky Lake, is that my phone? Yeah, it is. There's going to be select bushes. A lot of those, the times that I've been over there and experienced that bite, islands are key. There's a lot of islands, especially as you get south on Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake. So those islands can be really good players because fish can approach them from all directions. You know, they just come up out of the river channel. Boom, they feed in those bushes. But also when you get back in some of those bays, any of those bushes that are along the ditch, most of those bays have like a little creek or a ditch that comes in. An edge, exactly. Bingo. Those are going to be your more high percentage bushes, and the single bush. You got a bunch of bushes and then there's a gap and there's just one bush just kind of hanging out there by itself. A lot of times your bigger fish will be in that bush for whatever.
Well, think of that line of bushes also as a bank line. If there's a point in it, if there's any
irregularity,
that's the word that I can't say. If there's any of that, fish that, just like you would fish a point, a hump, anything like that. Make sure that we're covering the bases there.
Yeah, and so as far as baits to attack that, one of the best things, hands down, is just a big flipping stick, like that. Like that Virtus 7.3 Ranger is a good one. 20-pound test, 1/2 ounce tungsten weight.
Did you see Watson's post about FFS?
Yeah, man. I don't know. We're gonna have him on here pretty soon.
No, I'm talking about his new acronym for FFS.
Yes. Yeah.
You talk about the flipping stick. I mean, come on. Everybody likes
that word. That's a harsh word, though.
A freaking flipping stick.
Yeah, but that first word is.
I know.
That's my problem. That you just. That's a heavy word, man. I mean, that's just a heavy word. That should be reserved for last
heavy situation.
Heavy situation. Not selling merchandise, but hey, he's making it work, man. He's rocking. He's getting that cheddar.
But everybody likes a flipping stick.
They do.
I like cracking them.
Right. So 20-pound test, flipping stick, 1/2 ounce weight, and whatever bait you like, just as long as it doesn't have a lot of appendages. Something compact, like
something that you punch with.
Right. Like a beaver or a crawl that doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. Brush hog's probably not a good one. A tube is a really good one, but just kind of keep it short and compact. And then a swim jig, skipping a swim jig around that flooded stuff is spinner bait. You got several options. The chatterbaits, you got to be good with the chatterbait, man, because the chatterbait does not like coming through wood. You're going to get hung up a lot.
Who was telling us? I think it was Uncle Ron. One of the vibrating jigs comes through timber really well.
The Mini Max is a little bit better because it's got an EWG style hook.
Okay.
And then they actually make like that cross-eyed chatterbait or whatever that's got a weed guard on it.
Okay.
But you miss some fish on that. I played around with those before in the grass over there, and you do miss a few fish. But you can, one thing you can do, and I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but you can take your something like a beaver style trailer and put it horizontal, and it's really fat. And so instead of rolling over, when you got like a minnow style bait on your bladed jig, it'll roll over and that hook point will grab. But if you got something that's more flat, that's got a lot of surface area on the bottom, it has a tendency to like kind of go over better. It encourages it to go over, stay upright and go over.
Instead of hitting and rolling, it hits and
exactly. It kind of comes up. And that's the same thing with the swim jig. Something like a even a menace is kind of round, but I would say a menace or a rage crawl or something, some sort of a crawl would work better in that situation.
You can flip either one of those baits too.
You can. Yeah, you can.
And you can swim them. You can.
And a frog. A frog is another good one.
Anything you have confidence in, it sounds like, if you're going to fish flooded bushes, flooded cover.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options there. And that's, when it gets flooded around here and it's just runoff, man, I like a spinnerbait. If there's some stain in the water, I will just put a spinnerbait in my hand and I will cover some water, or even a swim jig, and just have a heyday. If I can't get bit doing that for a while, then I will slow down. A lot of times I'll pick up a toad, but I like that when that water is up and it's high, it's muddy. It's got not muddy, but it's got some stain and there's overcast conditions. I'm typically going to put something in my hand and try to cover some
buzz bait.
Yeah, but if you're on a rocky lake that doesn't have grass, you don't have to deal with grass and a crankbait or a swim bait.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of that. So most of the stuff that we referred to tonight is
going to be grass related for the most
lakes.
part. But we do fish Kentucky Lake, and I'm fishing BFLs on Kentucky Lake and Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock and stuff. So there'll be a little bit of that mixed in.
Jacob said, right there. This was a comment earlier, but you're definitely getting that fishing. You're definitely going to get quality over quantity if you're fishing shallow. Typically, I feel like the bites are going to be bigger.
Yeah.
So.
No, I haven't put my batteries in. I saw you. I have. That was on my mind. Why I had the motor off the back of my boat. I got some ionic lithiums that I still haven't installed. I got the 125 amp in there for my scope.
But you haven't put your trolling.
I haven't put my 250 amps in there. No, but I need to do that really soon.
Your gloves stink or something?
I got so many gloves. Did you
smell them across the lake? Or
no,
what?
my gloves are like fingerless. I do. I got one pair that are really, really old, and I got some newer ones. But yeah, I got a bunch of gloves. That's a cool thing about my job is we get a uniform allowance, and so I'm straight on gloves. I got plenty of gloves. I try out all kinds of gloves.
The best ones that I've found was for cold weather was those strikers, but they're waterproof.
Yeah, they do. Daniel asked if they make them in readers. They do have the prescription. Bahio has the prescription. You just have to get on their site, and they're good folks, man. Lance Freeman and Melinda Mize are two of the people that I've been working with over the years. Super good folks, and they took care of Alan now at the Classic. Mm-hmm. They hooked Alan up down there, mm-hmm. But they do offer the readers. They got a bunch of different.
They offer prescription too.
Yeah, that's what I meant by readers. Maybe.
I think I know there's a competing company that calls it something else, but I think they have pairs with readers in them.
Just in the bottom, like a little sliver?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure about that if they have that or not.
I know for a fact that they do prescriptions.
Right.
So now prescriptions are high, but well worth it if you spend a lot of time on the water and if you don't have contacts. We both wear contacts, so.
Yeah, Jacob says he's a little bit north of us, and he's already had a massive wave come and go. What do you think about around here as far as that May spawn? Where do you think we're at?
I don't fish a lot of the spawn in May. I went and looked for a handful of spots this weekend. I saw a lot of empty beds. I did not see a lot of filled up beds, and the ones that I did catch up there in the 10-15 minutes I was up there were all bucks. I threw a wacky worm around a little bit and caught a handful of small bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I swam a jig and caught one, but beyond that, May is my time, and you know this. May is my time. I go out. I go offshore in May.
Yeah.
I try to catch
I'm
the
looking for that too.
Wave shallow in March, and sometimes even late February this year. I try to catch that wave, and then I try to catch that wave that the first spawners that moved out. I want to be ahead of the crowd. So when I'm out there this time of the year, the first thing I do is I just start scanning. I didn't make a cast for the first hour and a half this weekend. Just scanning points, and when you find it this time of the year, it can be epic.
Yeah, and they're feeding.
They're dumb right now.
They're dumb. They're feeding, but it only lasts for a couple of weeks, and people start finding them.
Yeah, once they find them, they get.
Darius said they're about 95% done. Kentucky Lake.
I think they're. Cool. I mean, I've seen spawners in June, though, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that you'll see.
That one year we saw some in July.
Yeah, you'll see spawners all throughout the entire season, from February all the way till June, July. It's
especially if you have like adverse conditions that keep the fish from spawning.
Yeah, there's nothing that they don't read the books that we read that says they have to spawn, the first full moon in April or the full moon in May. It all goes what their you know, it's a lot of it's their life cycle, I believe, too. Like when were they hatched and when did they come into, you know, that time? So
That's the cool thing about nature is nature spreads things out.
Yeah.
Except for the cicadas. Somehow the cicadas are like,
are they here?
Man, I've heard people over in Southern Illinois getting hammered. I
So-
haven't seen any here. In some St. Louis too.
My brother said that it's deafening at his house, and he's 40 minutes to our
I
west.
don't have any here.
Nothing here.
Nothing
Now the
here.
buffalo gnats. Oh my God.
They're out.
Oh my God.
That's because the river's up.
I know.
That's what happens. The river gets up in those fields and it pushes all the buffalo gnats out of the fields.
We were at practice and it was bad at practice. And
What's up, Colton? Yeah,
I haven't
man.
seen Colton in a while.
Yeah, just man, doing this, dude. Doing the YouTube thing. Family. We moved into a new house not too long ago, and fishing as much as I can, and just trying to stay positive, bro. Just trying to keep it real and have fun along the way. Now, you hear those tree frogs?
Oh gosh, they're mating out
So
there.
we're
They're
over
coming
here
out to spawn.
Yeah, we're over here at my father-in-law's house, and he's been having issues with these tree frogs messing up his late evening regular scheduled programming. So he likes to just sit down and relax and watch TV. So they've been.
It's deafening right there.
Yeah,
you walk out that door and it is deafening.
He called me the other night and said, "Hey, you got one of them fancy phones, don't you? You can look stuff up on." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Why don't you look up and see how you can get rid of tree frogs?" He said, "There's two right outside my window, and they're just conversating between each other. And then you got couple big bullfrogs.
Yeah, his little
so they
down here.
roll. It starts going in this big cycle, and he can't even focus.
Yeah, they're going. I mean, I can hear them right now. They're getting after it still.
So I told him, I said, we don't ever get political on this, but this is a joke. But I told him, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm looking right now. Let me pull it up." And I said, "Oh, I found something on it." And he goes, "What's it say?" And I said, "Well," I said, you got a picture of Trump?" He goes, "No." And I said, "Well, it says if you take a picture of Trump and you tape it on the window, that it will scare the tree frogs away." And he goes, "I'd rather just listen to the damn tree frogs." So I said, I said, "I guess you don't want it bad enough." Anyway, the cicadas got to be coming. They got to be coming. Yeah, post-spawn bump.
See, I like the post. I like post-spawn.
It gets funky up shallow, but like you said, if you look out there deeper,
you just got to put the time in behind the screens. And I know, like, we talk about all that a lot, but the screens have been there for years and years and years. That you just got to put your seat time in to make that happen. I mean, it's not something that you can't just go over 4 points and expect to find them. You got to. It may be brush piles, it may be points, especially if you don't have any kind of forward-facing sonar. So.
What's up, Pickwick Pirate? Say just left BTL, and Mr. Brian New was acting a fool on there. I'll listen to that tomorrow. Be interesting. What's up, Jake?
Are we competing with BTL tonight?
I don't know, man. Matt Panger just does these random like late night,
I know
streams. I know. It helped us out that one night because he did a late night BTL and then he jumped on here with us.
But he gave us a shout out too.
He gave us a shout out. That was cool to hear the old 10 Horse Monty YouTube channel on BTL.
No, it wasn't Taco Bell. It was I had Taco John's today. It's Taco Tuesday.
Are you going to Las Brisas tomorrow night or not?
Probably not.
I'll be there.
I know.
My sister's in town. She's gonna come out there and hang out with us.
It's if it rains, we might be up there.
Yeah.
We got a big weekend of Ballis, so I'm gonna do 3 nights in a row of practice.
Okay.
So we're just trying to we were talking earlier with all the rain and impending rain that we've been having. Like, I never know from day to day if we're gonna be able to practice or not. So.
Yeah, it's been nuts. 2017. Man, it's been a while. Time just flows by. Darius said Kentucky Lake hasn't been that high in 5 years. It's like fishing a different lake. It seems like I don't remember 361 hearing that.
Not in a while.
Not in a while.
I miss those days. I definitely do. We fished a couple of college events when it was flooded down there. I fished a lot of BFLs when it was flooded down there. It's fun.
Phil's talking about flooded get to the bank. Wapapello is super flooded right now.
Is it?
Now that's one of those lakes talking about high, kind of like Wren. Wapapello, when it gets up, it's a really flat lake. So a 1 foot rise on a flat lake can go for miles, and it can be just overwhelming. Man, he said the Fenton ramp is closed. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because it's kind of out on that peninsula and it's flat.
You know, but WAP is one of those lakes too. If you're a local and you know some of those like sneaky stuff, you can get right in a hurry.
Colton's he's putting his boat on the trailer right now.
How'd you do tonight, Colton?
Thanks. Shout out. Thanks, Jason. Hit that, Jason. That's cool. Appreciate that. Love the content. Keep up the great work. I've learned a crap ton from your channel, man. I appreciate that, dude. It's good to hear that.
It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's good that I'm helping maybe somebody catch some more fish, even while I'm learning to catch more fish. Because, man, I'm just trying to put it together when I'm out there most of the time too.
Well, you know, it's not like you don't have it solved, right?
No, heck no.
The puzzle's not solved. That's what we love about this game, right?
It's like music. Music's the same way. The more you get into it, the more you realize, the less you know. You know, fishing's that way.
And the day that you thought you knew everything, you go back the next day,
it's over.
And yeah,
there's those little 3-hour windows that happen every once in a while where you're just dialed in.
You're a hero,
and you're like, you're on a cloud 9, and then you just search. You're just chasing that drag and trying to find that again, learning a little bit on the way, putting it together. I mean, we don't make our money fishing.
No, definitely
thank God, because I would be broke.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, when you get to spend multiple days on the water, the puzzle seems to be, the pieces start to fit together. You're not trying to put a square peg in a round hole, right?
Right.
And the decision making comes faster when you only get to spend. For me, as of late, I get to spend once every 3 weeks on the water, so I try to put it together as fast as I can. And fortunately, I got help, but you know, you make a couple phone calls and you try to put the pieces together a little bit quicker. You still got to figure it out on your own, because I can't run your pattern and you can't run my pattern.
Right.
So Phil's got a question. He says, have either of you fished the creeks or the backwaters of the Mississippi? I can say that I have, but it's been years and years and years. We got to, Phil, you're local. You probably know the hole. It's called the block hole here. I used to fish that quite a bit, and it may not be good right now because the river's so high, but when that river starts to rise, it pushes a lot of good quality fish around. But I haven't. It's been years and years since I've fished any kind of backwater off the Mississippi. I was fishing it though before the carp problem got really out of hand. That's when it was still kind of good. What about you?
I haven't fished in the river in a long time. I mean, I fished the diversion channel a little bit, which is just a channel that runs from the Block O to the Mississippi River.
Yep.
But it's been years since I did that. But I know there are certain creeks like what is it? Appleton? There's a little Apple Creek. Apple Creek. Yeah. Now I've heard that can be really good.
Yeah, I fished that years and years ago.
But it's got the carp, the Asian carp problem in there.
Yep.
And hey, shout out to Oliver there. Got Oliver Siebert says, "What's up, boys?"
You going to Truman next month?
Third place.
Boater?
Third place in the Toyota series out of the back of the boat.
Sweet.
A grand.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's stout, man. That's stout. I don't think so. I'm to the point where I have to kind of watch my vacation time. I've kind of burned a little bit of it. The last couple of years, like the last 3 months of the year, I'm like completely out of vacation time. So I'm having to pick and choose. So I'm just kind of going to focus on the LBL division for the next couple tournaments. So I didn't make the last Lake of the Ozarks tournament because the LBL was on top of it. And I was kind of torn between that because I was just sitting in 13th in the Ozark division. I was sitting in 69th in the LBL division. But I went down there and had a really good tournament, and I moved up to 40th. So I'm working on that video. Man, it's like a lot of stuff to go through. I'll probably have the practice video out for that. I get to fish with my buddy Michael Courtney, and it'll be a pretty good video. I'll probably have it out Friday, and then the tournament video will be the following Wednesday. But Oliver, you'll definitely, if you watch the video, you'll be able to relate to having 2 fish on that would have moved you up to take some hardware home, watching them jump off. and
We're
knowing
not.
how hard it is to get a bite out of the back of the boat.
Hammy, we are not professionals here.
No, hashtag no pro. Shout out to Mikey Balls. So anyway, everybody whines about the one that got away, but I got video to show it for sure. You'll see it.
Yeah, I'm not even. You guys would drag me harder than you guys.
Oh, they do need some coaches. They
you
do
guys
need some coaches, man.
drag me harder than you.
But hey, haven't they won like 2 in a row?
That's called a streak.
It's called a streak.
That's called a winning streak.
Yeah. Yeah. Two's a pattern, or
that movie.
What's Ike and Ellie used to say?
One's
luck, two's a pattern.
Yeah, one's luck, two's a pattern, one's a mistake.
Something like that. Yeah, the NPFL is. We were gonna have Big Al reached out to me tonight or yesterday and asked if I wanted to have a couple of.
Talk about. Okay. Shout out to Sean here.
Got to hit the hay, Gabe. We'll talk soon. John, forgive you for wearing the wrong hat. Good night. Yeah, Titty's Jig Works. Everybody on here, go follow his page on Facebook. He's gonna give away $100 worth of stuff tonight, and we should probably give something away really soon. We're like 40 something minutes in. Let's start talking about some cool products. Not only are we going to give away some of this stuff, but we're going to talk a little bit about it because this is all stuff that's in play right now. Let's start with these rod sleeves. These Evolve rod sleeves. Cool. I got two of these. We're going to do an Evolve rod sleeve prize pack. I'll pull one of these out. They come in a bait cast and a spin cast, and they got a couple different models. This is the I want to say this is like a pro model or something. They're nice.
They're legit.
Yeah, they're very, very nice. They got a regular, they got a shorty, and then they got a long, depending on, this is a regular size. But you can get on the website. Actually, I've got the website on here. Let's see if we can pull this sucker up here real quick. Let's go to share. And we'll just walk our way through this while we're talking about this company.
Colton said he only caught 3 keepers. He sucks at flipping.
Probably had some current.
I bet so. I bet it's absolutely ripping down there right now.
There we go. Go back here. Okay, so Evolve Fishing. I think they just specialize in, the rod sleeves. Let's see what all they got here.
Got some power pole covers.
Yeah, they do. They got some cool apparel. Got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They got a bunch. They got, a bunch of different colors, bunch of different sizes. You can pick out whatever sleeve you want. And look at all these color options you got. If you want, if you wanted to match your truck, the deck of your boat, whatever. They do have.
I used to match them for situations.
Like, that's what I do. Yeah.
Like if it's a blue one, it had 12-pound test. If it was a green one, it had 20-pound test on it.
Yeah. Or you can go heavy, medium heavies,
yep.
Cranking one color, finesse another color. You can.
It was easy to reach in the rod box and go, that's what that is for.
Right. And then they've got, let's check out the marine stuff they got.
So power pole covers.
Yeah. Raptor covers. The apparel. I was like looking at the apparel. Even though I got like 47 hoodies. Yeah, they got some nice tees and things like that. But we'll
give a couple rod sleeves away.
Yeah, let's give a couple rod sleeves away. Get this back down here. And then I'm gonna pull another pack. And we'll
you gonna autograph it?
Check it out. It'll be worth this thing.
I'm gonna flip back to the
yeah, go ahead. All right, so they come with a decal, which is kind of cool. I was like extra decals. Got a bunch of these. I got so many decals I need to put somewhere. I've acquired this stack of really cool decals, and I can't throw them away. I've thrown a bunch away, but I can't throw them away.
You need a camper shell on your truck, and you just line the windows of the camper shell.
Yeah. So let's start from the tip.
The protection.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. It's got this hard. It's not hard rubber, but it's rigid. It's got some flex to it. But this is going to protect the your eye, your rod tip. And then it has a little hole right here. So if you want to hang this on a wall with a screw or a nail or whatever, you can certainly do that. Neoprene, it's a little bit stretchy. And I took like a mega bass hook and kind of rammed it in there. You know how sharp a mega bass hook is.
With the outboard too.
And it really didn't go through. It really didn't go through. And that's a problem you have with a lot of like the Chinese handcuff type of rod sleeves, which is what most of us have. Your hooks get dug into those really bad, especially if you've got several in your rod locker or just kind of carrying them around the back of your truck. This is a neoprene. So it really does a good job of keeping the hooks from getting out of your stuff or getting in your stuff. And then on the end, you've got this ring. This is where your reel will be sitting right here. And this is really cool right here. You got this adjustable, flexible, expandable thing right here. This goes around your handle. So just pretend there's a reel here. Your rod goes in here and then it kind of wraps. I should have brought an actual setup.
Well, it keeps it from falling off when you slide it in your rod locker.
Right.
Keeps it from pulling down.
Right.
Nobody wants
and then if you do hang it up, your rod's not going to fly out.
Yeah,
and it's
you got a hanger on there.
Right. You got a little hole in there, which is pretty sweet. And then when you're running down the lake, this is fastened to the back of your reel. So you're not going to lose your rod sleeve. Like we've all done that. We don't realize it until we're like 30 miles away.
Plus, neoprene does float.
Neoprene does float.
So
really hardy. I mean, it's, that's kind of cool if you're into the aesthetics. They got the blue thread, blue stitching. And like I said, they got a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different sizes. I got a couple that are for spinning rods that work really good, but these are for bait casters. So
well, at the end of the day, like take care of your investment, right? We spend a lot of money on these rods.
Yeah. Even in the back of your truck, just something riding around, bouncing around. I know you strap them down in your boat a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everything's in the back. I don't keep anything in the back of my boat. Because some
people do.
Because of that road grime, all the stuff that happens. I have a camper shell, so I throw everything in the back of the truck. So,
yeah. So we're gonna give away 2 of these. We're gonna give them away right now. Let me set up the giveaway deal.
It's the one right next to it. There
it is. And we will do hashtag EV. Let's do capitals. No, let's just do regular. We're going to mix it up. Okay. All right. Hashtag evolve. If you want to get into the giveaway.
Gotta share that.
For where we're sharing it at.
Present.
Thought I was sharing it.
Nope, hit that one again.
Show me how to run it.
Share screen. Top one. There you go. We got it.
We got it now.
We'll cook on
hashtag no bro. I told you.
That's why we need Hammy over here.
There you go. Hashtag evolve lowercase. Normally we kind of mix it up with uppercase.
No E on the end.
Yes. Steve.
Aaron. Wildcat. Ryan.
Yeah. EVOLV. It's kind of a tricky spelling. But we got 2 of those tonight. They're both bait caster, and I think they're both the regular size. So we'll let that run for several minutes. These are like $20 a piece, so that's a $40 giveaway. And I do have a code. I believe it's THM15. It's in the description box. So if you like these, you want to check them out, you can use that code for 15% off at Evolve. It's these are you can kind of get on their website and read a little bit about them, but they're made down in Texas. I believe this is an American-made product, and they're good
definitely.
quality, guys.
Like we said, we spend a lot of money, $200 to $300 on some rods, and THM10 is the code apparently.
Thank you,
John.
I don't even know the codes. I do know it's in the description box though. Aaron says, how do you get DQ'd in the elites for no fishing license? Well, you get DQ'd if you don't have a fishing license. That's how you get DQ'd, I guess. Somebody got DQ'd?
I don't know. I didn't hear that one.
I didn't either.
I was under the assumption a lot of times Which I guess they don't do that. Some of the pre-tournament meetings that I've been to for bigger tournaments, they always checked our fishing license.
Yeah, that's right. It's THM 15. I thought it was 15% off. THM Tim's on like a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. No, when I fished in, I know college is completely different than elites, but when we fished in college, they always checked our fishing license just to make sure that we were all legal eagles there. But I know things change that's the responsibility of the angler at the end of the day, right? Like that's part of the rules. Kind of like Trey Swindle a couple years ago.
Yep, I was being smart. Sorry, go ahead.
What is it?
No, he was just saying, hey, no kidding, duh. That's Cole Sands.
Gotcha.
Lost day 1 weight for not having a fishing license. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was saying Trey Swindle got DQ'd for not having the proper insurance on his boat. So it's part of the rules. You're an adult. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure you got your stuff together.
Well, these guys are traveling. They're going. A lot of these guys are fishing the opens. They're jumping into Toyota Series. Some of them are doing the Invitational. Some of them are elites. They're fishing a lot of different tournaments, going to a lot of different states.
I can see how it would be, but at the end of the day, like
it's still your responsibility.
It's your job. It's your responsibility.
Yep.
That's like our responsibility because we both drive vehicles that are owned by a company. It's our responsibility to put the seatbelt on. It's our responsibility not text and drive.
It's part of preparing for the tournament.
Right.
You're doing your packing. You're doing your lake map study, making sure you got all your baits, and make sure you got a fishing license. But I can understand. I mean, I've done it.
I've been all the way to a tournament and forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I've fished for a couple of weeks without a license, and then suddenly realized that. Yeah. And then there's some like Illinois expires on the end of the month,
31st of March.
But then Missouri's what, the 28th,
end of February.
Yeah, end of February.
Yeah.
So there's a variable, and I think there's even some that are year to year, maybe. Like whenever you buy it,
it's for a year. It's for the year that you it's a full calendar year, no matter when you purchase it.
And then there's some you don't need because they're like the White River, you have reciprocating water. So
you have to buy the reciprocating license.
That's right.
It was a $10 license, and that was from the point of purchase.
But at Pickwick, it's Mississippi, Tennessee, and what's the other state down there? Alabama.
Yeah.
So if I understand, I'm pretty sure if you have one of those licenses of those states, you can fish the whole lake.
Okay.
You don't need like the White River border pass like you do at Impulse Shows and Table Rock.
Well, it's like Kentucky license goes so far down the lake into Tennessee before you have to have a Tennessee license.
If you have a Kentucky license, you can fish all the way to the 79 bridge, which is Paris, Tennessee. If you have Tennessee, you can go all the way up to Ken Lake, which is 68.
Right.
So that there's a buffer zone in the middle.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of like tricky things that are going on out there on the water.
You
still got to know
the Mississippi River. Like, what side of the river are you fishing on?
Yeah.
There's certain areas that you have to have. If you cross that borderline, you have to have that license. Other areas allow it to.
Well, Canada.
Yeah.
United States Canada line. I remember Polinick. There was some kind of weird coaling rule in Canada.
And he was like 100 yards in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and he thought he was in the States, and he made a coal, and he turned himself in.
You're right, Aaron. It is a dumb thing to get DQ'd for, but it's also the responsibility. I'm going to go back to it's the responsibility of the angler to be up and up.
Grimy, thanks, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, and then you got there's times when so like when we had the NPFL guys on here, they were talking about fishing at Amistad. Part of that's in Mexico. So they had to buy the Mexican license.
Right. Is there a license in Mexico?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. It wasn't expensive though. I think it was like $30 or $40. It wasn't crazy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good call, John. It's just kind of look at your whole tournament schedule and order your licenses ahead of time. You can prorate them or extend them for, to make sure they're not good until you're going to be down there.
That was one thing I was going to say. Like if you had that, I know Illinois, if you buy your Illinois license too early,
it puts you on that year.
It puts you on that year, not the next year. Because I would looked at buying mine when I thought about it, and I was like, I can't buy it yet because it won't be for. It'll be like I'm buying the same license that I already have. I had to wait. And then when I was waiting, it was like the night before. I was like, oh crap, it expired, and I went and bought it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, Bass Fanatic, but I mean, I'm assuming that it's just you got so many places fishing so many tournaments that you can easily lose track. I don't know the story, but I'm just assuming that's what.
Well, think about this: like when we were fishing the BFLs, like if it was it was a super tournament, and you drew a guy that was running down to Paris, like you weren't buying a full year; you were going to buy
just a
3 day or 1 day fishing license.
Right.
And a lot of these guys, if there's a 7 day option, they may just buy that 7 day option. But I would guess most of them probably went there to pre-practice before off limits and had that fishing license then.
They're going to buy at least a 7 day, I would say.
Right. Well, so and I don't know if this is the case or not, but if you get in a lot of our local tournaments, if you get a ticket for doing something illegal, you're DQ'd from the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't know if that's the same way
if you run a no wake and the water patrol gives you a ticket.
Yeah, you're out. Like
you're not just sitting in the penalty box for an hour and a half.
No, you have a ticket and you're done.
Right. So let's give this away. Got 37 in here.
That's good.
Let's draw them up. Gotta write this down.
Big bucks, no Emmys. Yeah, you gotta keep them all straight tonight. You just get more than one.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Mike Foster. Congratulations, Mike.
Hey, go check out Mike Foster Outdoors. He's got a YouTube channel. He's been fishing the Toyota series. He's fishing up kind of that northern Illinois Newton Lake, which is a lake that we've been trying to get to for a while. He's pretty good on Newton Lake. I think he lives in Indiana, but he comes down.
That's one of those lakes that we've been trying to get to, like as a nice trip.
We got he's offered if we ever want to get up there and go, and it's like Sean Hurst said, it's arguably the best place in the Midwest to catch really good quality fish. Probably shouldn't say that on here, but I might go up there and do a lesser known. I want to get back into that lesser known series. I've had a couple people ask me about that, and I just kind of quit doing that. So Mike Foster, the Evolve rod sleeves, I will get those to you pretty soon. Got any more? What else is popping up on there?
Going through some of the comments.
Oh, go back up real quick. Somebody had something about Darius right there. The Tennessee license is good.
Oh, come on. One more time.
Good to Waterloo, Alabama on Pickwick. Okay, so there's
another line
good
there.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's just tricky.
Yeah, that's.
Well, if you can make it to 65, I think you can fish everywhere for free.
I think she's talking about the.
I was just saying in general. I was just thinking, they
running
under 16 and over 65.
Running the no wake, I think, is what she was referring to.
Oh, with Trey. Yeah, that turned into something. That turned into a little bit of heat. It's you don't really know exactly how the story went. There's G side, there's Trey side.
There's two sides to every story. There's a right side and a wrong side, and then there's the truth.
The truth is typically somewhere in the middle. I think Trey's pretty respectful guy. But I think we talked about this one time on here, but you got to know the rules because who was that was talking about that? I can't remember who it was. But anyway, I think Lisa, the tournament director, had mentioned that like 4 or 5 times in the pre-tournament meeting that was a no wake, even though it wasn't posted. And I guess he didn't hear it or something, but it wasn't for an advantage.
He offered again.
He knows a few spots.
He
likes the stupid tube too.
The what?
Exactly. The tube.
I didn't hear this one. You know anything about that one? Marshall getting ejected out of the boat?
No, I don't know, but I did see he was talking about the younger, I think there was college anglers that were running down that no wake chute or whatever, and they had that wreck. I thought they got suspended for like a whole year or something. I'm pretty sure.
College anglers did?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure something happened.
Phil says 65. You still have to buy it out of state, he believes.
Oh.
Which I think that's the truth because Dad's not. I don't think Dad still has to buy it.
Does he have to pay full price?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he should get discounted. want to see this Newton rig. Sounds like a sneaky little setup.
Zaldane's doing some good stuff. Have you been watching any of his stuff?
Yeah.
He's got some good stuff going on over there. Him and Trey.
Oh, the bilge.
Yeah,
they stirred up pretty good over there.
You'd have to get all the states to agree, and how all the states can agree to anything. So.
I think the lifetime fishing license, is a bargain. I mean, it's a gamble, but if you buy it when you're 20 and you live to be 80,
I got a couple buddies that, like grandma and grandpa, they bought their lifetime hunting and fishing for them when they were like 16. That was one of their like avid outdoorsman presents, and that took care of them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So
Michael Bradley says he's a New Jersey Devils fan. It's not easy. It's tough when your team's struggling, man. I got a guy. So I got a buddy at work. Shout out to Brother Jay. He's a hardcore Raiders fan. I mean, he's been following the Raiders since the 80s.
When they were really the Raiders.
They've jumped here and there and everywhere. But he had a silver car that had like Raiders on the license plate, silver and black car, and he's got tats, like Raiders tats on him. I mean, he's all inked up. He's a fanboy, man. He's Raiders Nation, but he hangs out. He hangs with them, man. Through thick and thin, mostly thin, but he's there. So I feel you on that. A lot of these teams, you take the Cardinals. They're going to be back.
Oh yeah,
they always go in down cycles. You can't be on the top forever. Like the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to fall off sometime. They got to. They're going to have a few bad years. Although right now it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon.
You going to
Brad? No, you know what? I thought about jumping into some of those because there's kind of a big gap right now in the lineup or the LBL division. So I might jump in some of those. It just depends on how it works out as far as my days off. I have to work on Saturdays most of the time, so it's a bad thing about being a letter carrier. We don't get the Saturday, Sundays off. But I don't know. I've never been to Shelbyville, Brad. I never have. I mean, I'd like to go up there and check it out. I've never been. I think it's 3.5 hour drive.
It's a haul.
Yeah, it's a pretty long drive.
I don't know about the bilge if it's too much. I don't know how much drama it is. I only watch the ones that I have interest in watching.
Mike Outdoors.
That sounds really bad.
That's Lake of the Ozarks, Aaron. Mike's he's Table Rock, Stockton, maybe Palmy, Lake of the Ozarks. He's a good dude.
Mike is?
Yeah. Mike Outdoors. He's got a YouTube channel.
Mike Outdoors or Mike Foster Outdoors?
Well, Mike Foster is, I thought he was talking about Mike Hamilton, who's out there on Lake of the Ozarks. No, Mike Foster is, well, he just got done fishing. He's fishing all the Toyota series. So he fished in Grand. Go check his channel out. He's got a lot of stuff on there. He's got some good net men too in the back of his boat.
Where's the muskies at, Brad? Is that Shelbyville or is that Newton?
Not Newton.
I've heard that too. I heard Shelbyville.
Palmy.
A lot like Wren. So
Palmy's got some muskies in it.
Stephanie asked a question earlier while we were giving some stuff away, and I'm not going to go try to find it, but she was asking if either one of us have been on Cedar as of late and how the water clarity was. I can say that the water clarity is not what I expected it to be.
It's still clear, isn't it?
It's still stupid clear. I know my brother was over there this weekend, and he was talking to my dad, and he said that it was muddy. And I went and looked, and I couldn't. I mean, my definition of muddy and everybody else's definition of muddy is not the same in a lot of instances. And that was definitely not the case this weekend. It is not muddy.
Bass and Moon has a strong opinion about Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Sucks balls.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So,
yeah.
But so no, definitely not muddy. It's got some stain in some of the back of the creek.
Yeah.
But not what I was kind of hoping for, a little bit more color in the water. I did catch them on a black and blue jig, Stephanie. But They are biting that if you get back in some of the dirtier water.
She don't have any confidence on
I
it.
know,
So,
but I thought about that.
He's saying
too.
this is your chance to get confidence on the black and blue jig.
Yep. Go fish some of the stained water in the back of the creek.
And we're gonna give away a couple black and blue jigs here in just a minute.
And I know Stephanie's got some Cumberland Pro.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. It ain't the jig; it's just the confidence. You gotta keep throwing it. Right. Yeah, they did that rip wrap project on cedar. They kind of started that about, when was it, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when they did the southern end?
It's been longer.
I had my old boat.
It's been 10. Yeah.
Okay, but that was the start of really clearing that lake up. And then they've really been hammering on that. Have you been up to the north end?
I still didn't go up. I still
you go up there and look.
I know.
They've hit so many banks up there. They've got everything rip wrapped up there.
If we go back in time here, we have a super low water event at that lake.
Must be delicious.
Oh gosh. You're gonna start a riot.
Your tires are gonna be slashing the parking lot, Jacob.
No, what was it? It's been probably 10 or 15 years ago where the water dropped crazy one fall. And it essentially created a new grass line.
Oh yeah.
And then when it came back up, the original grass line came back again. So we had two different grass lines, which that grass line is a huge filter for any kind of sediment.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have all the riprap, which if we don't put riprap on that lake, we don't have a lake in 15 years. Like it'll be silted in. There's banks that are collapsing in on that lake. It definitely changes the lake, but overall, I think it was the right thing to do.
You ever seen that? Like one fish tries to eat a fish that's too big and it dies. You know, like locked up.
I've seen it in person. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever have.
I've seen
a bluegill.
I've separated them before.
Do you like a bass on bass?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've seen a bluegill in a bass.
They weren't like 2 5-pounders that were like.
Were they still alive though?
One of them was.
Huh. Yeah, they get so aggressive.
Yeah.
Start thrashing. They never do that on your bait though. It seems like.
Oh, I didn't throw the black and blue jig enough to make a difference. I promise you that. I can't even tell you what I caught them on. You guys laugh at me too much. So
high and clear.
High and clear. That's about typical though, isn't it? Kentucky Lake gets clear and Barclays.
It's gotten a lot clearer than each year it seems like it gets a little more clear, but I don't know. Last time I was over there, it had some nice stain, like some 3 foot of visibility or so, 3.5 foot of visibility. But
Barclay or
Kentucky, which I like that. That's a good clear. That's what Lake of the Ozarks. Lake of the Ozarks gets that 3 foot of visibility, and people say it's clear, but it looks.
Is it got like a hue to it?
A little bit. It's got a slight stain.
It's not where you can read a Coke bottle in 10 foot of water.
No.
Or even 3 foot of water. You can see that there's something on the bottom.
Yeah, it's got a little hazy, most of the time. I'm fishing. I'm focusing on the LBLs. I moved up to 40th from 69 to 40th. So they take the top 45 to the regional, which is going to be down in Pickwick. Got 2 tournaments. Let's see. Yeah, 2 tournaments left. Let's see. They're in a weird time frame, like July and August, I think, which is weird. Usually
early for the super.
Yeah, usually that super's in like middle of September. So I don't know. It's going out of Paris to that super tournament. So super tournament's the big one. That's the one. It's like 1.5 times points basically, and that's the one where you can really make up some ground.
Right.
So I'm feel good. I've had some last 3 tournaments have been pretty solid. I've had my opportunities to do better, but everybody does, and I hate to keep saying that. But
so the riprap, it doesn't matter if it's cedar or any lake. The riprap doesn't filter or clear the water. It keeps the erosion from happening with wind, boat traffic. You don't have mud lines anymore on banks. And then when there is a rain event, your wash in doesn't. That's where it filters. But I think grass has more to do with it than riprap, honestly. And a lake like Cedar has plenty of grass to filter the water.
I think that riprap helps some of the stain, because I've seen times when
we don't get that mud,
that big gush. It kind of stops it, blocks.
I think it filters it, but I don't think it's preventing it on a normal day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
unless it's windy or there's a lot of boat traffic.
It's like the difference between a colander and like cheese, like pantyhose or something, you know, as far as filter,
Right.
you know,
Right.
It still lets some stuff through, and then the weeds take care of the finer
Yep.
stuff. But
Yep.
because there's times when you'll see on the back side of that riprap,
It'll
it's
be-
got some stain to it.
Yep.
So it's holding that, some of that in, and you'll see it filter out too through the rocks occasionally.
So this next one, shout out.
What we got?
Never go bass to mouth.
Or is it base? How low can you go?
You can go pretty low, can't you?
Yeah, pretty low.
Brad asked
All
how
the way
you.
to F on the E string. It's as
Can
low
you?
as I can go.
I don't know what that means.
It's,
You'll teach me one day, won't you?
yeah, that's a big string. There's a
Uh-oh.
lot of responsibility on that E string.
That really low
Yeah.
one.
You can send the frequency around the world and change things
Can
if you
you?
hit it just right.
Can you?
Yeah, if you focus hard enough on it.
So it's
Some nights I felt like I have.
Can't catch on.
Oh man, you need to talk to Ron, Uncle Ron. He's a big fan of the black jig, especially in the wintertime. Cold water black jig. He taught me that, and he throws the
You
pork
better
chunk. in the
keep
mix.
your mouth shut.
He throws the pork chunk. He's talked about it on here before.
Okay.
He's talked about it on here before, but let's show some more stuff.
What is? Hold on.
What?
Caught my first ever double smallie and largemouth on the same crankbait last summer, both for 3. That's gotta be cool.
That's pretty sweet. It's hard to do a double on a crankbait, but to get 2 separate species.
But how
And
much
3-pounder?
Hold on, how much fun is it when you like you're throwing that 6-XD and it's like dum, 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 dum. Oh, there's one, and all of a sudden it goes, and it's
Yeah.
just like he just got like 5 pounds bigger.
I've only done that on a crankbait like once. I've done it on the top water. You ever done it on top water? I've done it a couple times on top water. I've done it a bunch on a rig.
I have a series of pictures in one day, and you know the day that I'm talking about. That was about 7 years ago
Oh,
on Cedar,
yeah.
and it was right, and yeah, I got 3 pictures of 3 doubles on a crankbait.
That's awesome.
It was one of those days. So,
All right, we're going to give away.
Cumberland, is this Cumberland giveaway?
It's going to be some Cumberland Pro stuff, folks. So Cumberland Pro Lures is a bait company that
Crock's got.
I've been with for.
Crock's got faith in you. He said you gotta make it. You only dropped to 51st. They keep it there, man. They're following you.
Are
dude.
you serious? I only
Yeah.
dropped to 51st. Whoa, that's cool. That just shows you how tough it was. Or isn't that weird how that works? Like the people in front of you have a tougher tournament. You just kind of stay there. I guess 13 to 51 is about the same as 69 to 40. So yeah. So you're telling me I got options. Telling me I got a chance. Cumberland Pro Lures. It's another company that
Nope.
has
I don't
been,
talk about the
it's
juice.
been with me
That's
for a
him.
while. Do me a favor, go Facebook, Instagram, give them a like. Isaac, the owner, follow him on Facebook and Instagram because he's always posting videos. I think he does a video a day, and they're really short clips, and they talk about. He's a jig nerd, guys. I mean, we've got people that are crankbait nerds, spinnerbait nerds, frog nerds, you name it. He specializes in jigs, and that's what makes Cumberland Pro Lures a really special company. He puts a lot of time in the designs. All these head designs, skirt colors, the hook, everything is his brainchild. He spent a lot of time developing these. They look like a regular jig, but there's some special qualities to each one of these jigs. I'm not just blowing smoke at everybody either, but he's put a lot of time into the designing these jigs. But he does like a daily video, and they're really valuable. A lot of times he's talking about different chunk sizes, the different action that a chunk does, just little tweaks to your jig, the different kinds of jigs for different situations. He's doing the stuff that if I wasn't delivering mail, I'd be doing a lot of that stuff because it's really useful stuff to people that are.
But he
fish
has
jigs.
the knowledge to build that.
He does.
Around that.
Yeah,
chunk.
he can tell you why the head is designed this way because he made it that way. So we're going to give away a bunch of Cumberland Pro stuff. So we got a big nighttime spinnerbait. This is red. It's a single Colorado thumper. This is something you can do it right now. Kentucky Lake, any place. Once the fish start spawning, there's definitely a nighttime bait on any of these lakes. So that's just going to continue to get better. I got a big variety of jigs. One of the jigs I'll talk about first is, let's see, I grabbed a lot of stuff. We're just going to give all this away in one big, giant, happy family. I'm going to trying to get the 3 colors of the Bama swim jig here I'm giving away. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got 3 of the Bama swim jigs. This is Houdini, and I'm going to pull one of these out of the package and show you why this is a pretty unique little swim jig. And this is the Oshad, not to be confused with another word. And then this is one of my favorites, is the Chartreuse Shiner. So obviously this is a shad colored bait, and then this is a bluegill colored bait. This is kind of a sleeper color, Houdini. It took me a little while to throw this, but there was like the first time I actually picked it up and threw it, had a banner day, and then it's kind of been one of my go-tos. But let's pull one of these out and I'll show you what's kind of cool about this swim jig. So it was designed for a technique that's really popular in the South, specifically Alabama, called the Bama shake. So this is the Bama swim jig. First thing you notice is the head design. It's got that kind of conical, rounded head design, 60-degree line tie, do you believe? And it might be a 45, more like 45, 30? Yeah, we'll just keep going smaller. 30, yeah. I know this jig inside out, right? It's got the little golf divots in it, which is kind of cool. The little dimples. Nice weed guard. Nice hook. I can't really see it because I'm sorry. No, I got it now. Okay. It's got a 4/0 round bend hook, and this is a solid hook, guys. I mean, it's got some meat behind it. It's super sharp, but I'm throwing this typically on 15-pound fluoro. JB likes to throw it on braid, but you can throw this on either
50-pound braid.
Yeah, you can throw it on either one. It's a pretty good solid hook. It's
definitely got the hook for braid. Like
yeah. Whatever you want, you can throw it on. It's not that it's no big deal. It's not going to let you down. You're not going to bend it out. So I'll show you the goodies on this thing. This is one of the, I'm not saying it's the only one, but this jig has an acoustic element to it. It's got a little single rattle. And as you're shaking that, you can hear it right there. As you're shaking that Bama swim jig, doing the Bama shake or just whatever, however you want to fish it, you're going to get a little bit of acoustic element. And he's also made the rattle red because fish like blood. And there's been some scientists that say that fish are attracted to red. So if you can put it any color that you want, why not make it red just in case? Who knows? I'm not sure on the science of that, but I know it doesn't hurt. And another really cool feature about this, a lot of jigs that have a rattle on them, the whole hook shank is taken up with that rattle, and there's not a lot of space for that keeper. There's not a lot of space in between the horn on that keeper and the back of the rattle band. So your trailer wants to slide. This jig head has been designed to allow plenty of space. I don't know if you can see that or not, but if you look at where that band is attached and the keeper, you got plenty of space in there. So your keeper can slide up there and it's still got enough room to grab a hold of there. But this comes in, I think, 5 colors. They got some pretty cool like sunfish, bluegill colors. This is one that I throw quite a bit. The Houdini's another one, the sunfish. They're all really, really cool colors. Comes in a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8. I throw them both. 1/4 ounce if you're getting up there really skinny, and then 3/8 if you want to get out there a little bit deeper. Another thing that rattle does is it kind of helps stabilize it. You got some weight kind of on the center of it, and it'll rock, but it keeps it kind of coming back to center. So it's a good swim jig. And I'll show you.
They said they can't see it very well.
They can't see it very well.
Sorry, guys. It's still running. Even
yeah, you can go.
Hashtag Cumberland.
If you go to, I've got Cumberland pulled up there. If you want to go to that, he's got a lot better pictures. That's his rock hound.
Hold on, they can't see it.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay, keep on talking, man. Okay, we'll show a couple of these other jigs. Now, he's kind of streamlined the company to just, he's got some terminal tackle, but he's got like I said, he specializes in jigs. So you're going to get a lot of Really cool jig design. Here's the pig jig. This is the GPO color, and I'll pull this one out to you.
Where's that Rockhound?
Yeah, the Rockhound is unique. It's got
Procaster, Rockhound, Procaster, the Bitsy. That's one of my favorites. Little Runt is a good one.
We're going to show the pig jig right now.
Jig. I like the
pig jig is one of my favorites. So the pig jig is like a modified Arky style head. So it skips really good. It's kind of an all-purpose jig. You're going to see the Procaster is similar to an all-purpose jig, but they've got two separate. Huh? Oh, there it is. What are you looking at right now? Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure we're looking at it. Let me go make sure. Yeah, we're looking at it.
There it is. Boom. It's the exact same one. Orange on the skirt, brown, watermelon. This is a great color in the spring and the cold water. I mean, it works anytime, but spring, I've had a lot of success with the GPO color. This is a great all-around bait, though. It's got the Arky style head, so you could skip it. I fish it like a football jig a lot. It's got a lot of surface area on it, so it comes through rock really good. It kind of bounces around. It's got a good solid hook. It's you're not going to bend that hook out. It's plenty solid. The weed guard is where it's supposed to be, and you've got plenty of keeper behind that band once again to get your trailer on there and make sure it doesn't slide off. But this has been one of my favorite jigs. Caught a lot of fish on this. He's got a lot of cool colors. Smashed pumpkin is one of my favorite colors that is not as obvious. It's a really good fish catcher, especially around Southern Illinois. Caught them on Lake of the Ozarks with the smashed pumpkin. But we got a couple of those that are going out.
You mentioned this tournament tackle. He's got some shaky heads.
Yeah, we're going to throw in a pack of shaky heads too.
Sweet.
Just some 1/8 ounce shaky heads. They've got, a decent sized keeper. It's not too long. If you follow the channel, I'm kind of weird about the keeper on the shaky head. But this one right here is not overly long. And if you feel like it's too long, you can cut like one of the bends off of it and make it just right. But it's a good stand-up head. It's got a nice finessey hook. It's a longer hook, so it gets back in that worm a little bit. So you can get the hook in the fish when he does bite. Good quality products. I'll show you a couple more of the jigs, and then we'll draw this sucker. It looks like you're going to have, whoever wins this is going to have, you're going to have a spinnerbait. They're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like,
I'm gonna go ahead.
Like 12 jigs and a pack of shaky heads. So
I'm gonna go ahead and draw this.
Yeah.
While you're getting that
go
out.
ahead.
And then we're gonna, once we figure out who wins this.
Gotta write this stuff down so I don't forget.
Oh, you don't have to write that one down. I'll take it to him tomorrow.
Douglas.
I'm headed that way tomorrow if he'll be home. So
cool. Congratulations. He needs some CPL stuff.
Perfect. So
they've also got I'll just show you 2 more things real quick.
No, you're good.
They've got this is the buckshot football jig. The pig jig comes in a 3/8 ounce and a 1/2 ounce, by the way. And the football jig comes in 1/2 and 3/4. It might come in 3/8 too, but I know it comes in a 1/2 and 3/4. This color right here is called PB&J Crock. It's a really cool color. It looks good in Lake of the Ozarks too. I've been fishing this color quite a bit with the baby finesse or the little run finesse jig. So it's a little bit different than your typical PB&J. It's got a little bit of a sparkle in it too when it gets in the water. It's got some kind of gold kind of color to it, but it's a modified football head. And it's designed with this 90. What are we doing?
I don't know. I can't see.
We're working around each other.
Yeah.
One of these days we're going to get 2 cameras.
A mouse. I want a mouse.
Yeah. It's hard to tell that this is it's kind of narrow in there, and that allows it to be just a little bit wider, and it's wanting to rock back and forth, and you can sit there and this 90-degree line tie, you can sit there and shake it up and down, and got a good hook. It's a smaller hook because in my opinion you don't want a really, really beefy hook on a football jig because a lot of times you're making a really long cast. You got a lot of line out there, so you don't want the same kind of hook you'd have on the pig jig. It's plenty of hook to handle the fish, but it's not like a gaff. It's not like a big flipping hook or something. But anyway, it's a football jig, but it is a little bit different. It's got some little cool tweaks in there. I wish Isaac was on here. He would definitely explain it a lot better than I did. And then I'll show you one more jig.
We've had him on, so guys, go back and check that.
Yeah, we need to get. He's going to come back on again sometime, but
he's definitely a fishing nerd. Oliver, we're gonna address your question. I haven't forgot about your question, but I fat finger stuff all the time, so bear with me.
And there's a little hookup flipping jig that I throw in there, 3/8 ounce, black and blue.
Well, I'm not going to all pellet tomorrow, Doug. Sorry, I won't be making it that far south.
We got two.
Bass Fanatic wants to see that swim jig again, please.
Okay.
He's asked that a couple of times.
Sure. I'll suck her out. Yeah, they have those on Baitworks too. So if you're wanting to check out a couple of these jigs, and the price on these things, they're very, very reasonably priced, and it's a very good quality bait.
You're not going to get a better jig for a better.
No,
price.
no, he's selling them at a super fair price. But if you go to Baitworks, obviously if you follow the channel, you can use the code THM10 and they get you 10% off. So you can
that's going down.
Go buy you some of
down
these.
Below. You haven't seen that.
Use THM10, gets 10% off, and that helps support the channel too. Maybe this will show up a little bit better here. Maybe I can. White's probably not the best color to show.
Go to the right just a little bit.
There we go. Still doesn't really pop.
I like that color though.
That's a great color. It's got a little bit of everything.
Got that little chartreuse in it.
Mm-hmm. I'll show you the rattle again and stuff. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Yeah, there's the rattle. It's showing up pretty good right there. And then you can see the gap at the keeper in the back of that band. I think it's a 4/0 hook. Stout. It's a good hook. Sharp. It's a good bait. Two more jigs I'll show you real quick, and then we'll move on to something else. The Procaster jig. This is one of the originals in the line. Comes in, I think it comes in a 1/4, 3/8, and it comes in 1/2 ounce. They just came out with a 1/2 ounce size. This is the first jig I threw by Cumberland Pro. Yeah, this is my favorite. It's a casting jig, so it's
You know what you did? Pulled out black and blue.
Yeah, black and blue.
It's the season. Tis the
Black
season.
and blue. It's a great jig. This jig's a little bit different. It has the double wire, so it's got the wire weed guard on it. And I've come to really like the wire weed guard. It helps. One of the cool things about it is when you're putting on a trailer, and I wish I had a trailer, you don't really have to pull the fiber weed guard. You kind of have to pull it to the side, or you have to smash it. This has a V in it. It's probably hard to see, but yeah. So you can thread.
Right. Oh, this is difficult. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, you can see that dual wheel.
That was really difficult. I'm not.
You did good, man. But you can thread your trailer up right in through those. And it's a casting design, so it's kind of a multi-purpose. This sucker is awesome in rock. Lake of the Ozarks, Bull Shows, Kentucky Lake.
That little runt has this, or is it the runt or the runt? The Rockhound has a similar head design.
Right, it's built on the Procaster head. Yeah, this head design, it just comes through rocks good. I mean, it really does. It's kind of multi-purpose. You can flip it around wood, and it comes through grass decent. You can even swim this thing. I mean, I've caught fish swimming this.
Definitely trust that weed guard too, because I was like you. I was a little when you first showed it to me, I was a little skeptical, and then I got some, and
it's just different. The newer version, they've modified this weed guard a little bit better, so you can move it around a little bit. It's just a little bit better than the old ones, but I got a lot of confidence on it.
It comes through stuff.
Yeah, you fish it a couple times, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a dang good jig. And like I said, it seriously does come through rock. Excellent.
So Oliver, he asked us like 30 minutes ago. So since you guys are fishing a team tournament, no, just tournament. It's a tough day. You need one more keeper. What are you pulling out of the box? What's the confidence go to? And let's just say right now, this time of the year.
Well, you go first.
Ooh, confidence bait right now. I'm fishing, probably going to be fishing offshore somewhere. My confidence bait's going to be a 1/4 ounce shaky head with a smaller 5-inch thin profile straight tail line.
I'm throwing an Ozark rig. The core tackle Ozark rig. I got a lot of confidence. I got a video coming out tomorrow on the Ozark rig. I've had a couple good days on that thing.
That's where the weight is on the hook, right?
Yeah, it's along the shaft. It's different. It really glides. And after watching it on live scope and just fishing it a little bit, figuring out how it, what it's doing, it reminds me of if you got a Texas rig or you've got a shaky head. I mean, shaky head is probably my second thing that I pull out too. But if you've got something that's got the weight attached to the nose of the bait more, it kind of, when you pop it up, it kind of does this and goes back down. Where the hover rig or the Ozark rig, when you pull it, it really does that. It's kind of like when a crawfish comes up off the bottom, it kind of stops and kind of flutters back down. It doesn't go like back down really fast. So it's got a nice natural glide. It's super finessey, but you can fish it on heavier line. I've been throwing it on that. I've been throwing on 2 rods. I've been throwing on that 7'3" Ranger, that Virtus Ranger, which is a heavy rod. It's not super, super heavy, but it's got some meat to it. And then the Game Changer, which is a 7-footer. So
in your
medium
video
heavy.
Coming out, you got a way to rig it.
Actually, I was throwing that on the Game Changer.
You showing how to rig it?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
cool.
There's a special way to rig it that makes it a lot better. It keeps the nose from tearing out on it a lot. But yeah, that's probably, or a swim bait, Oliver. I've got a lot of confidence in a little swim bait right now. I guess if I was throwing something on the bottom, it would be that Ozark rig. If I was throwing something suspended, it would be just a 3.3 or something on a ball head. Last jig I'll show you real quick. This is the Little Runt finesse jig. So this is their ball head finesse jig. And this sucker is bad to the bone, especially in cold water, especially around the post spawn when the fish are funky. It's got that spider kind of cut to it, but it's a little bit longer spider cut than a lot of the people have. And the reason he did that is because it gives you the option to keep that longer, but you can also trim it down. I mean, it's super easy to trim it down to what you want. So it's a ball head jig. It does have a flat spot. You won't really be able to tell right here. I doubt if you're going to be able to see it, but there's a little bitty flat spot on the front of this, because the problem you'll have with ball head jigs is they really want to roll over and get hung up. There's enough of a flat spot that it helps it stand up. It helps it stay upright a little more than just a complete ball head. It's got a finessey hook on it. It's like a medium wire. I mean, it's still, you're not going to really bend it out. It's got enough to keep the fish pinned. But I wouldn't throw this on braid, but I fish it on 15-pound test, no problem. But typically I'm throwing this on like 10. The same kind of setup I'm throwing like a shaky head on.
That's got a little bit beefier hook than a normal.
It's a good hook.
jig.
It's a good hook. Yeah, you're not going to bend it out.
Well, you can throw that on, like you said, you can throw that on 15.
You can throw it on spinning rod too.
Some of the finesse jigs that I've had in the past, you can't throw on 15. You can barely throw them on 12.
Right.
Because it just doesn't have the
hook.
Hook, which is fine. Like that's what it's for.
But everything on this is finesse. You've got thinner. You've got more finesse skirt, finesse strand. It's not just full size skirt material put on a small jig. You've got a finessey weed guard. You see that weed guard is a little bit finessey. This is just when you need some bites. This is a good bait. Just any kind of small chunk you can put on there. Just a small crawl, whatever your favorite trailer of choice is. But this is a really good little jig if you really need some bites. And Doug's going to get one of those too. They got a bunch of cool colors.
Have you tried the Core Tackle Wacky Shot yet?
I got some.
Have you tried it yet?
I'm going to. There'll be a video coming out sometime soon.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've got some.
I haven't got any of those yet, but that's on my list.
Yeah, the thing I'm concerned about it is that mosquito
hook
style hook. I haven't been a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the I can't remember what the weedless Nico, the VMC weedless Nico hook. It's a longer straight shank type of hook. Well, it's not straight shank, but it's a little
straight
bit
shank.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a longer hook.
Yeah.
I've become a fan of that.
And you usually throw that in like a 1/0 or a 1.
Right, a 1/0. Yeah, that's the same thing with the drop shot. I went from the mosquito style hook to like the G finesse.
Panger taught me that years and years ago.
Right.
Throwing a little bit bigger hook on it, and I think. So that mosquito hook, I think that's that northern influence, right? That smallmouth influence versus us down here fishing for largemouth. I think that's
Right.
the biggest difference there.
Well, and the thing with that longer shank is you can Texas rig it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where the mosquito, you're just going to nose hook it for the most part.
Yep.
Or you could thread it up there, but that hook's going to be exposed, and it'll work. But that's what I'm curious about is how that hook holds, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Stephanie asked, "What about jerk baits when it's tough?" I still throw a jerk bait, but if I'm throwing a jerk bait, I'm looking at them like 100% of the time now. I'm not.
I think, yeah,
I'm not just throwing a jerk bait to throw a jerk bait anymore.
Mm.
And that's just part of the scope.
Yeah, but there is definitely a place for jerk bait all year long.
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, they'll get on it.
But the question posed was like, I got 30 minutes left and I got to put one in the boat. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be a shaky head. Like,
yep.
It's a non-intrusive bait that they want to eat.
Yeah, so, Mike said he saw on one of my videos, I did a little short, which I might start doing some more shorts. I was showing the Ozark rig on the live scope and how it spiraled and how slow it falls.
Really? Man, I don't have any of those.
So it's cool because you throw it out and it hits and it stalls out for a second before it starts sinking. It's an interesting.
Can you tell Darius is a Kentucky Lake guy? All he's got to do is say 2 words.
Swing head.
Like,
hey, I saw that swing head in action.
Kentucky.
He reminded me that swing head still works.
Yeah. It never stopped working, I don't believe.
He was just throwing out. He'd be an excellent going. He was just throwing out in the middle of nowhere and catching fish behind me. He gave me his front of his boat, which was awesome. Who does that? Who invites you down to fish and says, no, you're going to fish in the front of the boat? And of course I said, okay.
Well, so a guy that fishes
a lot
as much as Darius.
Right.
So, we were talking with Fitzpatrick and Burhorse last week. Like, they argue over who's going to be in the back of the boat, not who's going to be in the front of the boat. You fish as much as some of these guys do. Like, you just want to – it's a day off for him. Like, it's just an enjoyable day.
Yeah.
So.
Go back up a second. Let's see. Some of us chattering a little bit more.
There's something about Nessie. Is that what you're looking for? The Berkeley Nessie?
Oh, the Berkeley Nessie.
I haven't messed with it. I got the
coal shad.
Got the coal shad, but I don't have the Nessie.
I like the coal shad. I've thrown it a little bit. It's a nice. It seems like you can fish it a little bit faster than you can the mag draft. Maybe
it doesn't roll.
Doesn't roll. It's got a little more action.
It catches them too.
Yeah, if you guys are talking about if you're in the Midwest and you order from Baitworks,
it's here.
It comes pretty quick. It really does. If you order by, I think it's 1 o'clock, it ships the day up. A lot of times you'll get it the very next day. And just like everybody else, they got $50. If you order over $50, you get free shipping. So it's it gets there quick. It really does. They do a really good job down there. They're on top of it.
Kurt says you got to
get into shorts, man.
It's a lot of work for
it is. I mean, the material is not a problem. All it is just taking like short clips out of videos and making them. And I should do that. You get a lot of traction out of them. They're worth the effort.
Who's making a good stupid tube hook?
Phil, you're gonna have to go to Jinko. Jinko started making a good. Jinko makes the hook that's really similar to the one I have, the one that I give you some of. There's another company called 4x4 Tackle that makes them, but Jinko, they're out of Kentucky.
And that's where
Jake Lawrence, from, so. My buddy Jake Lawrence, that has been on here, and he's going to be a guest soon again.
Congratulations, by the way, he just won.
He just won the Invitational.
So
long time coming. He was going to be on tonight, but he's doing a high school. He's just chatting with some high school fishing kids.
Darius says he always puts his guests in the front until they fail bad enough, and then he takes it over.
Well, he didn't kick me out, so I guess I did okay.
There you go.
Appreciate that.
He didn't say all that. But
now I'm going to be nervous if I fish against him or fish with him again. Oh, we had fun, man. We had a lot of fun.
Darius says horseshoe tackle also. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that one. I honestly, I've given up on the stupid tube. I just haven't thrown a lot, but I haven't fished Kentucky Lake a lot. I haven't fished a lake that is conducive to stupid tube fishing.
It works good on Lake of the Ozarks too.
And it sucks something awful in the grass.
Yeah, I probably should do a video on it again. I haven't done it in a while. Huh? Yeah, because it's a lot of people don't like people talking about it. There's a lot of guys.
Well, heck, when we found out about it, it was the sneaky.
Oh yeah, because them guys have been dominating on it for a while, especially those co-anglers. It's one of those baits that when when
if
you're
you
in the
want
back,
if you need a bite, like that's
Right.
that's a bait to throw.
if they're on the bottom and they're biting a jig, you can sneak that stupid tube around behind your motor and catch a few fish. I've done it quite a few times.
What I will say about the stupid tube, and I think you'll agree, like that's one of those baits that you don't have to be good with it because they'll pick it up and they'll hold on to that bait for 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Before that, because there's nothing exposed, there's nothing poking them. It feels really natural to them.
But anybody that's on here that's listening that's thinking about getting into like wanting, you're going to go out and purchase some stupid tube stuff. Like Phil said, make sure you buy the right head or you'll be disappointed. You'll be frustrated. You've got to get a head that has a raw, the lead is round. It's got to be round. If it's teardrop shaped, when you turn the jig head inside of the tube, you will rip it out. Now there is a stupid tube brand and they make a teardrop shaped head, but their tubes are real flexible. They're slimy and flexible and they're bigger around. So I've never fished with them, but they sell it and they sell them and people like them, I guess. So apparently they work, but most other tubes you need a round jig head.
One size smaller than you think.
Right. I like the
Crock.
I like the Crock Gator tubes. That's what I've been fishing. Charmer was the tube that I originally started fishing, but
Do they still make tubes?
I don't, I think they do. I
still got a.
But that Crock Gator, that's I think it's their PB&J color, and then they got one that's like green pumpkin with purple. Those are two really good colors. And then they got green pumpkin. You can't go wrong with that.
I always shark my. That sounded really bad.
Shark it.
I always chartreuse.
I always shark my pants.
Oh, it got really. Rich, you're right. You needed your boots earlier.
You said it, man.
I usually chartreuse the tails.
Yeah.
So
they got one that's got orange tips on it too. That's pretty cool. That's just the tube that I've had a lot of confidence in. Those are colors that green pumpkin with the purple is a good one on Kentucky Lake and Lake of the Ozarks. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, the stupid tube. I think their custom heads made for the 4.5 inch tube. I think the length of your tube, like you can't get a real short tube. The juice of the tube has to be the right.
Yep.
And then my final tip on it is like run your hook in and out of it, and kind of bust up that plastic a little bit, mm-hmm. because the tube is as big as your thumb, right? And the gap in the hook isn't usually that much. So you want to be able to. The best stupid tube is the one that's caught 10 fish, 15 fish. That's almost wore out. It's real chewed up and kind of sandpaperish. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I always took my hook and ran it in and out 4 or 5 times just to kind of open that.
And the hook is the best right before you have to throw it away.
The bait is the best?
Yes. The more it gets chewed up by fish,
the better
it gets. I mean, it's amazing.
It's almost like you want to take your scissors and like scrape down the sides.
Yeah, of it and you could take sandpaper maybe and rough it up. And we talked a little bit about that. You could stretch things.
Get all the salt out of it.
Yeah, there's something about that. Once it's got the teeth marks that have roughed it up and it gets kind of matte kind of looking. So yeah, he goes to a 4.5 inch tube, which is bigger than that.
So Mike says he uses sandpaper to rough them up.
There you go. Yep, that's old school stuff, man. He knows all the tricks. He probably does that on the blades of his buzzbait too. But yeah, it makes a big difference. There's something about that. All right, let's move on. Let's give away something else. We got several other things. Let's give away a $25 Baitworks gift card.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Hashtag Baitworks?
Yeah, just do a hashtag Baitworks. We're gonna give away 2 of those.
Let me get that set up. Don't start typing yet.
Don't start typing yet.
I'm not that quick.
I tell you one thing is that's happening now.
WRX, right?
Yeah, WRX. Is that little swim bait and throwing that little swim bait around.
That little Kitech?
Yeah, you're gonna see that in the practice video. And this is what's cool about fishing with
we don't do it like that. It
covers me up.
I know.
I don't like that. There you go. One of the cool things about fishing with different people. I'm an advocate of fishing with different people. I like to fish by myself a lot because I'm fishing tournaments out of the back of the boat, but I also like to fish with different people. And the reason why is because you learn a lot of stuff. I fished the day before the tournament with Michael Courtney. You're going to see him in the practice video at Kentucky Lake. We'd been trying to get together since the wintertime. He lives like 30 minutes from the lake, and I just wasn't able to make it down there. So when I knew I was going to be spending one extra day on the lake, we kind of got a hold of each other. What?
He got caught. Well, thanks for sharing your work night with us, Mike. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, go check out Mike Foster Outdoors. Good stuff. But I got to fish. Long story short, I ramble on, but he was catching fish on a little swim bait, which was really cool to watch and see it go down. And that's something that I didn't really bring much of that stuff. I had a bunch of stuff in there from the prior tournaments, a bunch of A-rig stuff and a bunch of small swim bait stuff, but I'd taken a lot of that stuff out of there. And he was catching fish with that. So the night before the tournament, I cut off I had 3 spinning rods, two of the finesse rods, the purchase finesse rods, and I had a net on one and I had a drop shot on the other. So I cut the drop shot off and I put a little small swim bait on there. And that ended up paying off for me in the tournament because they really weren't biting on the bottom, not until the afternoon. So we drug stuff around for a while, but just wasn't happening. But that seeing what I'm getting at is fishing with different people gives you different ideas on how to catch fish on the lakes that you've fished a lot on already. And I mean, it's no secret throwing around a small swim bait is the deal, but I got confidence that the day before watching it. And
when you're not live scoping either, right?
No. And it's, another thing I'm learning is if you're dragging stuff around and you're not getting bit, you need to be throwing something suspended. It sounds so simple, but in the middle of a tournament, when the clock is ticking, you want to keep your shaky head or your jig or your swing head in your hand, something you got confidence on. You keep thinking, cover enough water, I'm going to get a bite. Sometimes the fish are up off the bottom and you can make a handful of casts with something that's suspended and get it feedback like almost instantly.
Right.
You were going right past all those fish.
Well, and
unless that jig drops right by that suspended fish, you may not get a bite.
And we talk about like clarity, and that swim bait's putting off we may not hear it or see it or feel it, but that fish feels that thump of that little kayak. Even though it's not much, it feels that. So they feel that in their lateral line. That there's all kinds of unknowns that you don't know what's out there. But what I've learned with live scope is like I can reel swim bait over the top of a school of fish that's down in 20 foot of water, and you reel that swim bait across at 7 or 8 foot and watch them just come up out of the bottom and just tank it, right? You never know how they're looking. They're always feeding up. Bass hardly ever go down to feed. Their eyeballs are positioned on top of their head. So throwing a suspended bait, I mean, you figured it out this weekend. Like you're going to catch a lot more fish probably throwing a suspended bait or something that's in that middle water column than you are dragging something on the bottom, because you might be under the majority of the fish.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Unless you know that there's cover there and it's a visible cover, or you saw him pan with his live scope and you saw a brush pile or something sitting out there.
And it allows you to fish as a co-angler, non-boater. It allows you to fish fan cast behind the boat and fish in a different section of the lake than your boater is fishing, and you're less likely to get hung up. You start throwing a crankbait off the back of the boat, you're throwing like a deep diving crankbait or Carolina rig like John was talking about here, you're going to get hung up a lot, and then you're going to end up breaking some stuff off. You're going to mess with the flow of the day. But something that's up higher in the water column, like a swim bait, I mean, I did a lot of slow rolling it, just kind of nubbing the bottom, strolling it along the bottom, but also did a lot where it's kind of mid column. You can throw that thing around a lot more and not get hung up, and you get a lot of confidence in it. It's just a fish catcher, man. You catch fish 8 inches to 6 pounds on that thing.
There's a plethora of fish that live on the bottom of the lake. They do go down. They usually chase it down, but they had to see it. And live scope teaches you that a lot. They may be up 4 or 5 foot off the bottom, and you flip something in there.
and it shoots past their head, they usually go down after it.
Yeah,
and you can watch them literally go down after that bait.
And there's times when they are just feeding on the bottom for sure.
Yep, Champion says it right there. They follow baits to the bottom sometimes.
Yeah, let's give that away. We got a couple other giveaways to do. All right, here we go. Runs, please. It's gonna be Darius. Watch.
If you call it,
Chris Broom, cool.
Sweet, congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, get a hold of me. If you have Facebook, go to Gabe Montgomery Fishing, or 10 Horse Monty on Facebook, or 10 Horse Monty 6 on Instagram, and I will get you taken care of. And once again, all these companies that are giving stuff away, make sure you go like their Facebook page and their Instagram.
Go check out Doug with Auto Trieve too.
Doug's got a good product. Everybody should have. This weekend. Oh, I use it all the freaking time. It saved me thousands of dollars. Really, it really has.
It pays for itself in 2 trips. Yeah, guaranteed.
It really does. I did that one video where I got my Chad shad. Bought a $60 Chad shad, this Pro Chad shad. And I got it hung up on a brush pile. The Auto Trieve saved it. It paid for itself right then.
Yep.
Just instantly.
Yep.
And everybody's got a lure retriever. Well, this is
a lure retriever.
It's totally different.
You don't have to.
It's right there. It's night and day difference. It's just night and day difference.
We're losing some folks here. Everybody's going to bed. Sounds late.
Yeah, but you can always
Doug, catch me 3 tomorrow. That's all I ask for, just 3. And I'll be in for some sausage.
Oh yeah, he's got the best sausage for sure.
It's about like shart yourself. Oh Lord.
Let's give away something else.
We'll
keep it rolling, man.
Somebody mentioned something about Carolina rig. I don't know Carolina rig much. I know you used to.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's been replaced. Like Live Scope replaced a lot of baits.
Well, I tell you what, out of the back of the boat though, you talk to a lot of the boaters that we've had on here, the best of the best, and a lot of them mention a Carolina rig out of the back of the boat has been one of the best baits that their co-anglers have thrown. And it's certainly good at a Kentucky lake. It's something I'll be throwing like the next 2 tournaments. I'll have a Carolina rig on. Probably my favorite bait to throw on there is just a little 3-inch speed crawl.
Yes, you do.
Can't go wrong with a little speed crawl.
Yeah, if you don't have an Auto Trieve, you need to get one.
Yeah, seriously. It's so much easier than digging your old reel out of the locker and messing with it.
It's right there. You don't have to dig anything out.
Yeah, you get it and you're like, man, I should have got this a lot sooner.
Mine was I was fishing offshore, surprise, and it was blowing like 30 down the lake. I didn't have to go fumble around for anything. I just reached down and grabbed it because it's landing in the back of my boat.
Okay, so we're gonna give away some Hawgz Custom Baits plastic. So Hawgz Custom Baits, Eric, he pours a lot of soft plastics, and he does make vibrating jigs. He makes some jigs. He makes some shaky heads. I think he makes some spinner baits and stuff. He's got a lot of good products. Good dude. Most of his plastics, I think all of his plastics are non-salted, so they're a high float, which is great for the Carolina rig, which we were talking about. It's great for the shaky head, the Ned rig. Kind of stands up. People that are throwing forward-facing sonar stuff. That's why that Strike King Z2 is so popular, because it's kind of that elastic and it floats. It doesn't have the salt. So any of the Hawgz Custom Bait stuff does not have salt in it. This is one of my favorites. This is pretty cool. I think this is really unique. Had some pretty good days locally on this bait this time of the year.
Ooh, Uncle Ron in the house. Welcome, buddy.
Ronald D, what's up? Gave you a shout out a while ago about the black jig in the wintertime. This bait right here, it's so slimy. He puts like squid slime on it or whatever. Seriously, it's hard to hold. This thing right here, you don't see this every day. So it's a grub swim minnow hybrid thing. It's got really good action. This is something you can just put on a ball head jig. I fish it on an underspin. You could fish it on an A-rig. You could put it as a trailer on a swim jig or maybe even a chatterbait or something. But I don't know if this will do it justice. Yeah, there you go. But that's a really good color. It's got the eyeball. Fish like an eyeball. I don't know, something about a bait with an eyeball. I think it makes the fish mad. But this is just a big kind of grub thing. He pours it in all different kind of colors. I mean, I think he used to be able to just get a hold of him and ask about custom colors if you had a certain color you were wanting to find, and he would do his best to match it. We got some little swim baits. This is probably like 3.5, I would say. So just a little boot tail swim baits. It's a really good color.
Very similar to a
Kitech-ish. Yeah. Similar. And he's got these in a bunch of different sizes. And we got some little creature baits. Green pumpkin.
He'd wax my butt, I promise you.
It's kind of brush hoggish looking creature baits. I mean, you're talking about shaky head. This is one of the most overlooked baits on a shaky head, in my opinion, is a baby brush hog, or this little creature bait by Hawgz, whatever it is, that style of bait. And it's also deadly on the Carolina rig.
Especially with the high float.
You shark the tips.
Shard on the tips.
Yeah, high float. That's one of the nice things about the Hawgz stuff. It's got no salt, so it's going to rise up off the bottom. Put a light hook on there, feed it up off the bottom. This is a 5-inch ledge crawl. So fishing a jig throughout the season gets progressively tougher. They've seen a lot of them. So sometimes, you can downsize a lot of people still like a chunk because it doesn't have a lot of action. And that's kind of what this is doing. This doesn't have a lot of that flapping action. Doesn't have all the crazy flapping crawls and stuff, but it's got a good profile. And this is something you could just put, you could put a Texas rig too. It's a bigger crawl, ledge crawl. It's a kind of a green pumpkin color. And then HAW. I got it. You got it? Yeah. Nailed it. And then the last thing is this is the 7 1/4, just a big fat straight tail worm.
That side of the screen right there. Go right here since I'm trying not to.
There you go. Just a big O. Disgusting. We had to wait till we shark the tail first. 7 1/4 finesse. Well, it's not a finesse. It's like a Magnum shaky head. You can put this on a 1/4, 3/8, ½ ounce, whatever.
Ooh, Uncle Ron coming in hot.
Yeah, what do you say?
It says, I'll throw out a bone. Brush hog on schoolers.
So anyway, you're gonna get a pack of these too. This is a brown. It's green pumpkin brown. Still pretty cool color.
Let's see.
Anyway, that's a good little pack, man. It's gonna.
Phil, you are correct.
Getting all this, guys.
So we're definitely not just promoting auto Trieve. We both have auto Trieves on our boats, and I beat the paint off of that.
Yeah, they've got the one you can mount.
You can mount
on the deck, but he also came out with one you can put on your seat post or whatever. It's just got like a cable tie on there. Mm-hmm. It's right at your feet, and I'm telling you, man, you get one, you wish you would have got it a lot sooner. I use it all the time. Yep. Even though
unless you guys just like spending a bunch of money on lures.
Yeah, well, even the stuff that you can poke with your rod tip. When we've all busted out the insert in our rod tip by something we see and we're poking on it, you won't do that because you have to get out your reel and you have to mess with it. Well, the auto Trieve, seriously, it's right there. You pick it up, boom. You don't even have to mess with it. It's pretty nice. It's well worth the money.
So Oregon small jaw there. I don't know if you can read that. It's kind of small. So what's the ideal line
up
for you guys when going out? For example, finesse bait tied up, 2 moving baits, 1 top water. What's your
1 finesse bait, 2 moving baits, and then 1 top water.
I think what's your top 4 or 5 baits right now?
Right now,
I'm not necessarily finesse, but what's your go-tos?
Well, the shaky head's hard to beat. I mean,
that's all year though, too, right?
Like it's all year. Yeah,
that's not just now. That's every day.
I throw I like a 3/16 ounce shaky head on 8 to 10 pound tests, and I've been throwing it on a bait caster the last couple years. I've thrown it on a spinning rod with 10 to 15 pound braid to 8-pound test quite a bit in the past, but the last couple years, like a 6'10" to 7 foot finesse jig rod or something.
Thanks for joining us, Dustin.
Welcome to the show, man. Yeah, that's definitely going to be my finesse bait for sure. And then for a moving bait, you got to have a chatterbait, a bladed jig. It's just, it really works all year long. When they're up there shallow, you can get after them. You can let it sink and fish it out to like 10 foot based on your trailer. Other moving bait would probably be an underspin. Got a lot of confidence in an underspin right now. A swim bait or an underspin. So that gets those fish that are suspended. The chatterbait gets some of the suspended, but you can also work it through the grass along the rocks and around the wood stuff. And then as far as top water, man, I got a special place in my heart for like a chug bug. I know it's old school, but chug bug is like a popper and a walking style bait in one. It's not as crazy as a spook or a sexy dog or whatever your walking bait of choice is. And it's not as bloopy as, like a P70 or, a hardcore popper, but it's a kind of a happy medium of both. So if I didn't have to contend with a lot of grass, the chug bug is probably what I would choose for a top water. So that's my answers.
I like it.
What about you?
Well,
I know I took a little bit of your thunder.
Shaky head. I mean, my lineup right now. I'm thinking about what's laying on the deck of the boat. I got a jig tied on. That's 3/8 ounce jig. Depending on the situation, that's pretty well always tied on. I have usually some sort of soft plastic Texas rig set up. Top water, I'm going to have. I got a spook tied on right now, and I haven't caught one on it yet this year, but it's about to happen in an area, and it's not schoolers either. I'll tell you about that one in a little bit.
Okay.
I want you to go check that out.
Sneeko.
Yeah, I want you to check that out. That's a black and blue jig for those that are wondering. No, I throw a custom color jig that I tie up. It's a brown and orange and green. It's pretty standard, nothing special. Just I have a lot of confidence in that color. And then honestly, like right now, Gabe, you know this, what I'm doing. I'm really trying to work on my live scope game. And I know we try not to talk about that every stream on here, but I got a jig-headed minnow.
It's just another way of fishing,
I got a jig-headed minnow tied on right now,
yeah.
And I have a ton of confidence in it. But if you guys watched our streams, we've had Dion on multiple times. I'm not doing anything special I don't have a special secret bait. I'm throwing a 4-inch fluke, original fluke, but I am giving it all kinds of love. I'm making sure that it looks like the shad that are in the lake that I'm fishing. So it's got chartreuse on it. It's got black spot on it.
So you're doctoring it up.
I'm doctoring up my baits to
Sharpies.
Look
right.
Because if I'm going to throw something light out there in clear water that I want them to believe is a shad, I'm going to make it right. So it takes an extra 30 seconds, but honestly, the head that I'm using, which is the my goodness, I just drew a blank down there at Bull Shoals.
Oh, the tater shad head.
Tater shad head.
Yeah, that's a good one. Got that sickle hook on it,
and it holds the bait on really, really well.
You don't jump many fish off either, do you?
I don't jump hardly any fish off, and the other thing is like I went through 2 flukes all weekend and caught fish on it all weekend long.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good jig head.
Absolutely,
it's a really good jig head.
Absolutely, that sickle head really locks them in. So, what's going on in the chat?
Yeah, somebody's looking for that channel cat topwater bite.
Oof.
I caught a big one. Kentucky Lake on that.
Do they
that
expect us to
swim bait.
share everything on here? I think they do, don't they?
We share most things.
We share lots of things. You want to draw it?
Let's do it.
All right, it's going. I feel like is that Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Jacob
Collins.
He's been active in the chat.
Nice.
Well worth it. Well worth it. Anyone throwing black plopper with all these cicadas? Ron, we don't have any cicadas over here yet. We were talking about that earlier. At least in our neck of Missouri, we don't have any.
Man, Dave Holm sent me a picture of the cicadas around this tree.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's nuts. I mean, there are like thousands of dead cicadas. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Darius said he's been throwing the megabass cicada the last couple weeks, and they will eat that.
Yeah, you won't be able to. This is, I don't know if you can see this or not, but.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
Oh, okay.
Holy good God.
That's this right here is the base of a tree. And then those are all, that's like a pile of cicadas.
Channel
Like
cats were eating on top of
thousands of cicadas. And that's, yeah, he's got a couple pictures like that.
Mike's back.
That's over in Southern Illinois.
Mike said he's out of jail.
That's awesome.
Mike's out of jail, and Dustin
Had to check in, look alive, make sure nothing was on fire.
Yeah.
Put the fires out, come back. Hammy hasn't seen any. Huh.
We're in the same boat over here, Hammy. Like,
Yeah.
nothing.
But in St. Louis, like my aunt lives in St. Louis, and she said they're nuts.
Well,
but not everywhere.
My brother's, like I said, less than 30 miles away, and he said it's crazy. It smells like dead crickets. He said everywhere out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's so depends on where you're at.
Right.
Like Mike lives in Fenton. Nothing. St. Louis County.
Terrible, huh?
Yeah, some parts.
Jacob says looks like his yard.
Wow.
So
I remember.
You know, I wouldn't million over there. Ron, there was, I didn't hear any at the lake this weekend. Weird. Everywhere in Waterloo, Illinois. Stephanie's right there in Illinois and nothing. So we're getting this. That wasn't Stephanie. That's Stephanie. So we're getting the same deal over here. It seems like it's hit or miss. Got that mega bass at Bait Works.
Heck yeah.
No, I would love the cicadas as long as they ate the buffalo nuts.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
That's like gumballs. Why? There's no use for gumballs. There's people on my route that have gumballs, and you can't even burn them. There's this guy trying to burn them. You can't even. You'd appreciate this. There was a guy on my route. This is awesome. He had a torch and a leaf blower and a pile of gumballs, and he was letting them have it.
Really?
It was scary. I mean, I could feel the heat just driving by. It was just. He was straight up like Vietnam, just like, yeah. It was.
Did he have a pile of them that he was burning? Or
yeah.
what?
And he burnt. I mean, I delivered like the whole block, and I came around. I don't even know if he burned anything. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But he had all these little piles. And
Small Joe says he was asking because I find myself going out mainly slow or finesse bottom baits. Most moving baits are very situational, and it usually end up cutting them off for a jig or Texas rig. Sounds like you got limited tack or limited rod and reel, which co-anglers we face the same. Or if we're fishing out somewhere else,
bank fishing when you're bank fishing,
absolutely. Like my moving bait, my go-to moving bait, pretty much most of the year is a spinnerbait. Like you love chatterbait, you love a little Kitech. I like throwing a spinnerbait around, whether it's a quarter-ounce spinnerbait or all the way up to a 1 ounce spinnerbait. But I also have, I mean, you are correct. It is a situational bait. I'm not going to throw it all day long every day, but when they're biting, that's when I want that. And when they slow down a little bit, maybe that's the time that I pick up my Texas rig or my jig. So
yeah, and another bait that's really good that kind of covers the mid part of the water column and the bottom is a wacky rig. It's falling slow enough to where the suspenders can grab it, and then once it gets to the bottom, you're enticing the fish on the bottom. That's another really good bait to have tied on all the time. Yeah, to the winners, I forgot to announce this, but everybody get a hold of me. Get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll tell you what I need from you after you guys get a hold of me. So let's give away one more Baitworks.
One more.
We got one more $25 Baitworks gift card.
Coming down to the end.
And then we're going to give away the $100 Titties JigWorks package, which was
we have 2 more giveaways yet?
We got the Baitworks and then we got the Titties.
Oh, wow.
Which I love saying that. It's fun. It just makes you giggle
so
like a fifth grade schoolgirl.
We want to give away the Titties first?
No, we're going to give away the Baitworks.
Baitworks?
Yep.
What are we going to do? Same way? Let's just do hashtag bait this time.
Okay.
One day we will
hashtag bait. All right, get it in here. We're going to give away $25 Baitworks gift card.
I love just covering your face up there.
Just promise go all the way out.
Not yet, Jacob. So we'll let that run for just a little bit. So you're going to the lake this week or this weekend?
I'm on Thursday.
You're going Thursday.
Let's get up.
You're off on Thursday. What are you picking up? What's the first thing you're throwing at like 10:30, 11 o'clock when you get there?
I'm looking for a hair jig bite.
Ooh.
Nobody talks about the hair jig. It's hard. It's very specific.
So it's
like a spoon bite.
You're going to the lake. I'm not going to say lake, but you're going to the lake to create content, right?
Right.
So you have a particular bait in mind, which is what makes your job fishing more like work, right? Because you're going to the lake for content. You're going to create something to help all the viewers out to understand that this is what we're going after. It's not, you're not chasing the good bite. You're trying to fabricate a bite and hoping that it works, right?
And I'll look for it for a little while, and it's either happening or it's not. But I'm going to try to find that bite because that's one of my favorite bites, and it's hard to find, But that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna spend a lot of time out looking around offshore. So we'll make something happen. First, I want to make sure my motor's running good.
That's the key, right?
It's the key. I'll just be happy if it.
Well, if not, you better put those neutral motor batteries in your boat.
I know,
because it is a long way to troll all the way from the back.
Stephanie has a really solid point. Can't argue with that.
Well, I'm not even. We might get canceled.
You get like some bonus points or something, just because.
Mike wants to know what was
fuel pump, Mike. I just had my fuel pump went out on my 9.9 and a couple other, like a seal around the fuel filter. And I think that's it. So they got me up and running.
Jake, I like hearing that because I literally opened one of my hatches and they're set one right on top Saturday. So yeah. I almost grabbed it, and
it's a fun bite.
It is. It did. I threw a different spoon and that one didn't pan out either. So you want to give it like 30 more seconds here?
Yeah, we'll give it about 30 seconds.
So if you ain't in, get in.
Get in.
Oh, Mainstream's on.
He's back. He's back. He was on earlier.
Was he?
Yeah, he's back.
He may have been
probably went and ate and took a shower and
he may have been
did a little
here the
workout.
whole time.
Just sleeping, just lurking in the background. He broke a rod, so he's in the market for a new spinning rod, I think. So he said last night on his live stream. He has a Monday night live stream, y'all. So if you're not doing anything on Monday night, go check him out.
Who we getting?
Yeah, Ron said this. Someone say spoons. That's the spoon man.
Tom.
It's been a while.
Ron doesn't know anything about catching them on spoons.
No, he's never did a video on it or 2 videos or shared any information or anything.
Nope.
I saw that post he did on Mille Lacs though.
Yeah,
it brought back memories.
Bad day to be a smallmouth, isn't it?
Man, you got to put that on your bucket list, or jump in the boat with Darius too. Darius,
yeah, he went up to St. Clair, didn't he?
I think so. Looks like he had a time as well.
We're gonna
go straight up titties. Sure you spell it right. No, it's Y. It's YS. TTYS. Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
100%.
Let's do it. Run it.
Oh, shoot.
Nice. All right. This is a big giveaway, guys. This is a big giveaway. We got like 40 people on here, so we got a 1 in 40 chance of winning $100 worth of product, which is pretty awesome. It's cool to see. Some people are gonna be too embarrassed to type in the hashtag.
I wouldn't be.
I'll show you what you guys are.
What
you guys are gonna
hold
win.
on, do we need to make the titties bigger?
It's all caps. Use a different font.
Good God.
The bold font.
The bold font.
Yeah.
I was talking about on the screen, like make it full screen.
Oh,
Not just so I didn't want the titties to cover up your face.
yeah. Jermaine's got a good point. Everyone loves him. So Sean makes some really cool bladed jigs. You've seen these in a couple of my videos. Everybody's throwing a jackhammer and the Evo and all these other ones, but this has a little bit different sound. It works at a slow speed, which is something that's very important in a blade jig. And it's got a big old eyeball.
I'm just.
I can't even read. I can't read. I'm trying to focus on doing a live stream here. Finesse titties. This is fun. We should have wore the merch too. That would have been even better.
I know.
Anyway, can you put that in the background so I can?
No.
Come on, man. I'm showing off this fine product
Titties,
here.
jigs.
Yeah. So cool jig head design, and it's got the queen tackle switchblade blade on there, which is how he's able to do this. But this is, I think, a gizzard shad. He's got a bunch of really cool colors. It's got a lot of white on it. It's got the green.
Dustin says
got a gold blade.
Is fire.
Yeah, I've got there's a black and blue I'll pull out. I just grabbed a couple out of the boat. But that's a pretty good looking bait. This is one of the best color bladed jigs, black and blue. Got a little bit of that.
Well,
chartreuse.
we were at like 39 and we started talking about
there's a lot of people
the jigs
waiting on this.
It all came. They all started sneaking back.
He's got a bunch of stuff. He makes jigs as well. He's got some spinner baits on there. But it's a good bait, guys. It really is. It's hand-tied skirt too. Yeah. Hand-tied skirt.
Yeah.
Which that's nice. That means a lot. And
he definitely puts the time in for these jigs, right?
Yeah, so
it's not just a guy that poured a head from a generic mold and is selling you stuff. I mean,
well, yeah, he's got extra. He puts a little bit of extra time. The jig colors are really custom. He's got this. The keeper on there is really cool. I think it's tied on there too.
Let me see that real quick.
Yeah, it's tied on there.
That keeper right there.
That's hand tied.
That's hand tied on there. That's not molded in there.
Right. The skirt's hand tied and the keeper's hand tied.
Those of you that I pour my own jigs, and I don't take that much time.
Yeah.
And it's that skirt is not, again, for the jig nerds out there, that's not wire tied. That's not two pieces of copper wire wrapped around it. That's thread.
Yeah, it's not going to come off.
Put on a vise and put on there.
See,
so
yeah, he's got a bunch of really cool colors. I mean, the head color that matches. That's a good looking bait. I've caught a lot of fish on this one right here. Like I said, I just grabbed a couple of these out of the boat. You put a little. That's just like a 3-inch twin bait on the back. It's perfect, and I've left it long. It comes along. You can trim it out and make it more finessey. But this bait runs at a pretty slow speed too, which is kind of nice. You don't have to really burn it. You can burn it if you want, of course, but yeah, careful Googling. Yeah. So a lot of detail. He's got a lot of really cool colors. You'll check him out. He's on Facebook.
Sean Titsworth is his name.
Yep. Titties Jig Works is the company. He just has. I don't think he has a Google site. I don't think he has a website. He's got a Facebook site, so you have to go to Facebook to check it out, and then just scroll through his photos. You can see all his different colors. He does a really good job.
And if you want to I've reached out to him multiple times. We've talked about colors. We've talked about designs. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. Like, he's super knowledgeable, and he also, like, you're not talking to a robot. You're talking to the guy that's building them. So,
yeah, Dustin said their quality helped him get second place Saturday.
Yep. But I definitely like his his stuff.
Yeah, and he came up to us. We were over there at the Collinsville Boat Show and introduced himself to us, which is cool.
We got to do that more often. We didn't get the boat show tour like we should have this year. So,
yeah, I just have to.
It's tough
to go do it.
Yeah,
I'm always want to be fishing, man. If I can get a day off, I want to go fishing.
If it's nice out,
yeah,
I want to be fishing.
Yeah, they're good, Donald. They're really good quality baits. One thing I did on a lot of these is that keeper. A lot of times I will flatten it out a little bit. You know, I like to
kind of pinch it down.
Yeah, I kind of pinch it down a little bit.
Well, if you're throwing like what you got on there, if you're throwing a small profile on it,
you don't need that much.
Let's go back to this view. But if you got, this is difficult. You're so good at this. That keeper there, if you smash it down, like Gabe says, that you can put a little thinner profile or small profile.
Because sometimes if it's too thin of a bait, it'll end up poking out of the belly of it.
And then it catches.
I think I got maybe this hit that Facebook over there. I think that's set up to. We can close this out right here. Yeah, so there's some of those colors. I mean, look,
they can't see it.
But you can't see that.
No, so we have. Let's give it away, and we'll bring it up. How about that? Ready to give it away?
No, let's give it 30 more seconds.
Okay.
I want to show some of that.
Well, I have to. I have to stop sharing that.
Okay.
Get that.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll give it away.
We're gonna give it away.
Sure. All right, here we go.
Giving it away.
1 in 29 chance. This is what I was hoping. I was hoping there to just be the real players.
Pretty good. Who is it?
No double winners. Daniel Weber.
Sorry, Stephanie. We tried.
Dang it.
Aaron wants to know who's the next guest. To be determined.
Okay, as I said before, everybody get a hold of me, and I'll take care of it. That's a good question. So here's some of the guests I've got coming up soon, and I'm not sure the exact dates, except for Gene Gilliland from he's the biologist for Bassmasters. He's going to be on June.
Hey guys, get him some followers and get him some likes tonight. Go out and follow Titty's.
He's got a small little business going, little side hustle. Yeah, just do us a favor and just like his Facebook page.
Absolutely.
That'd be because he just gave away $100 worth of product. I mean, look at all the stuff.
It's not just
quality work.
It's not just your run of the mill stuff.
No,
those are custom. I've talked to him about this guy, so I know like these are custom molds. He's had these molds built. And that process is not trying to.
Well, look at the skirt colors.
Yeah,
they're very. I mean, that looks really good. He just does a good job.
It takes a lot.
It's built well
to build your own mold and build your own. Jigs,
Gene Gilliland on the 4th of June for sure. That we've got that date locked in. And one of the questions I'm going to ask him is what's his opinion on the effects of live scope on our fisheries? And I know the jury's still out on that. They're actively doing studies, but there's going to be a lot of things here in the next year that are going to come to head on the forward-facing sonar stuff. There's a lot of people looking into it, and there's going to be restrictions. I just have a feeling there's going to be some states that are going to do some restrictions. There's obviously, Bass has got a committee put together to kind of analyze these things, and it's going to be interesting what happens. But I do want to ask him about that to see what his take is on that. I want to ask about fish care, like in the summertime. I know some of these summer tournaments, it's not uncommon to show up at the boat ramp the next day and see a lot of good quality fish floating. That's something that there's really no excuse. There's random fish that will die, but there's no reason that we shouldn't put G juice and ice and do everything we can. And then if we do everything we can, well, that's what we can do. But a lot of the fish mortality is coming from people that ain't taken care of. It's angler abuse. Yeah. We need to know how to fizz these fish. There's different ways to fish smallmouth versus largemouth. These are all kind of questions. So we're going to have Gene on to answer. Jake Lawrence, he just won the invitation. We've had him on a couple times, but I'd like to get him back on to talk about his win, because it's, that's a huge deal. He won $115,000 because he's fishing out of a Phoenix. So we got that Phoenix boat money. Jake's a really good dude. He's known as a scoper, but he is a quality fisherman with or without of it, hard worker, and he's an all around good dude. James Watson, I mean, he's making a buzz lately for obvious reasons. He's going to be available sometime after the end of this month. I've reached out to him a couple times, so he's wanting to come on and hang out with us for a while, and that should be good. That should be action packed.
Might want to put our earmuffs on that night.
Yeah, we will. There'll be a few cuss words on it, but that's okay. It's a live stream. That's what we do. We just keep it real. If it flows, it flows. Cole Breeden is another angler that's going to be on sometime here soon. He is a guy that's fishing the invitationals. He's fishing the Toyotas, I believe, the BFLs. He fished the Anglers in Action Team Trail, and I think they won the points this year at Lake of the Ozarks. He's just a guy that you're going to be hearing about. A lot of the local people know about him already, but he's somebody that I got a feeling in the next couple of years you're going to hear about him like you're hearing about, maybe Drew Gill and some of these other guys. He's just on his way up. There's a lot of really young fishermen out there in that Ozark region that are they're just waiting to come up out of the smoke, and it's going to happen. Mike McClellan is somebody else that's going to be on there. We haven't talked to Mike in a while. So right now I think he's at a Spro convention, and he definitely wants to get on here. I reached out to him, and he said, "Heck yeah, I'm up for it. I just can't do it this week." So we're gonna get him back on here. He's a blast.
Wealth of knowledge as
well.
Wealth
of knowledge, and he's been in the industry forever. We'll see what Spro's got coming out. Matt Steffen is another guy we're going to get on here before too long. Matt's always really good. He's a great speaker, wealth of knowledge, got a great YouTube channel. The core tackle thing's just really blown up. They got a bunch of really cool products. So we'll talk to him about that wacky rig thing. And then the MPFL is fishing this weekend. So the winner of the MPFL, whoever that is somebody that we'll most likely have on the stream next week. Big Al's kind of been feeding some of those folks over to us, and it's been nice meeting all those people. So that's kind of what we've got on the books right now as tentative guests over the next several weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Might just give you a shout out. Says thanks for reaching out to all these great guests.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, man. I learned so much. It's cool to have these people on. Me and JB have talked about this several times. It's like it's so cool to be able to talk to these guys. These are like heroes of ours. McClellan, Menendez, Dion.
Some of those guys that we grew up idolizing, right?
Yeah, it's just we've had Jeremy Law. We had a lot of really cool guests on here, a lot of professionals. It's just nice that we're able to get those people on here. And what you find out, they're just normal folks like us. They're no different than us. Their job is fishing. They've got a passion for fishing just like us. They've just been able to take it to the next level. And then we've also been able to talk to this younger group that's coming up, like Trey McKinney, Drew Gill, Jake Lawrence. It's been cool to pick their brains. And then like last week, we had Burhorse and Fitzpatrick. It's two OG legends from Lake of the Ozarks.
It's
area.
Cool to see like the generational stuff. And I've talked about this, like the Drew Gills, the Jake Lawrences, they'll tell you everything, what they're doing down to a T. And then some of the OGs are like, figure it out on your own. Like, I remember Dion telling us that, like, you just got to go figure that one out, boys. So it's neat to see how that gap has evolved from some of the OGs to what's coming up now. I think there's good things to be said about all of them, right?
You know what? That's a good idea, Andy. We had Johnny Schultz on.
We did
not too long ago. Were you here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good stream. Maybe he'll jump on every
Pretty sure I was here for that one.
Yeah, that was a really good stream. He's great.
Jacob, I don't know. I would pee my pants. He said he had the privilege of fishing his co-angler with Dion.
Oh, cool, man. I bet that was fun.
I would be.
That was fun. Hey, Dustin, man, I'm glad.
I know this.
I'm glad we are your Tuesday entertainment. Appreciate you watching, for real.
He watches from prison.
Hell yeah, that's good stuff.
Uh,
Sorry you can't fish, but at least you can hear about it.
I think he probably is a prison worker. I don't. Well, I may be wrong on that. I don't know.
He said he just got out of prison earlier.
I figured he was just working.
Oh, I don't know. Either way,
Glad
you're spending Tuesday with
thanks for hanging out. Either you plan on buying a boat. I have a boat. I have lots of boats.
Yeah, I have an older Ranger 520.
Aaron? Are you talking about like a glass boat?
Yeah, we both have 16-foot John boats, which I'm really content with that 16-footer right
My
now.
John boat's probably nicer than. I'm not gonna say that. It's got everything that.
Yeah, they're set up.
Yeah, glass boat. I won't. Not in the next 10 years for me. I won't buy a glass boat. You got to realize the region of the country that we live in. We have 10 plus lakes that are all fairly small lakes in comparison. 8,000 acres or less that I can run from end to end with my 10-horse outboard, and it's paid for.
Yeah, here's Aaron. The boater side is definitely appealing, but it costs so much more money and it costs so much more time away from family. And I'm to the point now where I still get the competitive feel fishing out of the back of the boat. I just have to accept that I don't have control of the boat, and I'm learning a lot still. You can always learn. So my ego is not to the point where I feel like I have to be in the front of the boat to, be a really good fisherman or something. There's a whole different game that's going on the back of the boat. Could I find fish on my own? I feel like I could. I feel like if I put in a day or a couple of days of practice,
you'd be fine as a boat.
Yeah, I think I'd do okay. So I don't think that I would just go out there and really stink it up. But I also don't feel like I have anything to prove. I'm still getting that competitive itch from.
But you still fish out of the front.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll be fishing some. I'll be fishing some tournaments here locally out of the front.
Yeah,
most likely.
I mean, you fished. I don't know if you plan on fishing this year, but the Wednesday nighters you used to fish a lot of those. You fish some USA Bass and some English Choice. I mean, it's hard to put all of that into perspective when you're traveling with a BFL schedule though too. Like, it's not just here and there. It's full on when you're traveling to Ozarks area or even Kentucky Lake. Like, that's a 2-day event.
Yeah, that's something I may do when I retire. When I do have a little more time, I might get a boat, a bigger boat. I might get an Express. It might be a 21-foot aluminum boat. I might stay in aluminum, and go out there when I get a little more time and stuff. I'm not sure, but it's very expensive. Somebody said Daniel Fennell would be a good guest. I'm trying to get Ron Lappin on, who was the FLW tournament director, and the guy I fished with at Kentucky Lake, Ray Bargy, that's his Tuesday night team partner is Ron Lappin. So that's a possibility. And then there's one other guest that I'm going to reach out to. It's going to be a Major League Fishing boat official, and he's retired, and he fished like 6 seasons. I think he said 6 seasons as a boat official, and he's got some stories, and I think he'll tell some stories too. I just got to get that lined up.
So Ron says it's not the front of the boat; it's the decisions in the moment.
Well, that's true.
I agree.
You're 100% right.
I agree.
That's what I'm working on, Ron. That's what I'm constantly working on.
Here you go. Dustin said it perfect, and you know it. I know it. We all know it. I had a 720 Phoenix. I have a 721 Phoenix, and I miss my 16-footer with a 25 horsepower every day. I go fun fishing. I had 2 boats sitting in my garage. I had my 518 Ranger, and I had my John boat, and I had the option to hook up to either one of them when I pulled out of the house. And 9 out of 10 times I hooked up to my John boat because it was quicker, easier. All my stuff was in it. That's the boat that I fished out of the most. The lake that I could take that boat to was 15 minutes closer. All of the things just made me not want to get in. Not that I didn't want to get in it. It's just, it was simpler. Plus the fact that I can run 2 days on 3 gallons of gas
Yeah.
and go anywhere I want. So
Yeah. I know my buddy Toby, he had an aluminum Vexus and he sold it and bought a 16-foot John boat.
Yeah.
Just for around here. Because you don't really need a big boat around
That-
here.
that's
It's nice.
that's the thing that, like, if we live Ozarks, I'd have a
I love that quote from Ron. That's
Big
good
boat.
stuff.
if we lived in Kentucky Lake area, I'd have a big boat. Like, but we grew
Yeah.
up. We both grew up here. We've both had. You still have yours, but we both have had big boats, and unfortunately, they just sit more times than not because the tournament lakes that we fish are all small lakes. Yeah, a lot of lakes are horsepower restricted. Even if they're not, a Kincaid, an Egypt, I can get around just fine on the busiest day, and I'm not worried in my boat. I've never been out.
And there's no wake areas too.
Yeah.
You can get out of the traffic.
I've never
if it
felt
gets
like
real-
I've been outmatched in my boat on any of.
I've got
the
rocked
lakes.
around a few times out in those main lake points on Kincaid up by the dam.
Yeah, but you probably shouldn't be there,
Right.
and you'd be getting rocked around in your Ranger too.
Yeah. And then you start going
You go
back to the no wake.
Yeah.
You get splashed a couple times.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, fine.
I mean, I was over there in my Ranger, and I took one over the back, all over the transom.
Yeah.
So it can happen to anybody. So
Yeah, it just depends on where you
yeah,
are.
we're not fishing Great Lakes. We're not fishing big water. So
No, I definitely would be. I would probably get a.
Uncle Ron on here's got 2 of them. I can promise you, sitting side by side in his garage too. So, but
Yeah, Aaron, we've had this conversation before about the forward-facing sonar. Depends on the lake. Depends
Yep.
on where you live. It's different. Come down south. Come down south for a couple weeks and see if it changes.
yeah,
I've seen some guys in the Mississippi River in boats that they have no business being in the Mississippi River in, like little shallow running John boats with 3 or 4 people in there.
I've watched duck hunters do that, and full duck hunting gear and with a little 7.5 horsepower motor, just going down the bank. It's like one barge wave, and you're 15 foot in dry ground.
Yeah. That's a good question. He says, what do you think about a 3 fish limit for the co's and the BFLs? I mean, the opens have that, right? So that's I guess that's where you're coming from. I don't know, but when you said 3 fish, it automatically reminded me of something that's getting ready to happen on Kentucky Lake. There was a pretty decent sized fish kill that last BFL, I heard. And Kentucky Lake is coming back. It's in really good shape right now. And I think one of the reasons that it came back is because all the major tournament organizations left the lake for several years.
Which hurts tourism,
but it helps the fish population. Right. And the fish have finally started to come back. And when you start seeing, I don't know how many, I'm going to say 100 fish floating that are all keeper size fish, 2.5 to 5 pounds or whatever they were. A lake, even a lake as big as Kentucky Lake, it can't sustain that kind of fish kill over and over because it gets hammered. It's getting hammered now.
It's not a good look either.
It's not a good look, So one of the things that I'm an advocate of is these summer tournaments, making it a 3 fish limit. Like they're going to have BFL in July, they're going to have one in August. That should be 3 fish. There's a lot of guys that complain. It makes the weights tighter. I mean, there might be a guy who only gets 3 keeper bites, and they might be 35 pounders. He comes with 15 pounds. And then there might be a guy that culls through 20 keepers and only comes in with 14.75.
Well, it's the same issue that we run in our local lakes where we have 2 overs and 3 unders.
Yeah.
Like the argument is anybody can get lucky twice on a day and catch 2 5-pounders. Or, how many days have you and I both experienced it where we went over there and we've caught multiple overs, but they were all 4.5 pounders and we didn't get the 6-pound bite. And we missed a check by 0.5 pound. And they got 2 bites all day and they were the right 2 bites.
Yeah. Or I know people that have they have no problem catching 18.5, 19-inch fish and maybe 2 good overs, and they can't catch their unders.
Right.
You know, and they end up coming in with 2 for 10 pounds, and
yeah, and
they
it
get beat by
doesn't
12
get you
pounds.
anything, right?
Yeah,
it gets you a pat on the back.
That's just the way it is. But I am an advocate for that 3 fish limit on Kentucky Lake in the warm.
I'm
water
an
period.
advocate for no warm weather or hot weather tournaments.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I know. There's too much of a drug that exists out there of tournament fishing. So,
yeah.
Mike, you are 100% correct. We understand that. You don't understand what the difference is. If you don't fish a slot lake, you don't understand the difference between a 14-inch fish and a 13 and 7/8, 15/16, whatever you want to say, inch fish. Like, there is a quarter to a half pound difference between that quarter inch.
Yeah,
we have a protected slot is a healthier fish.
We have a bunch of 17.5, 17 and 3/4-inch fish,
and they weigh more than a 18.5.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, sometimes they weigh 3.5 pounds, and you got to throw them back because they're not 18 inches. It's and then you think that you're like, this lake's going to be full of 18 inches next year because all those 17 3/4, they never make it.
Nope.
I think they stall out. I think they know. They're like, all right, it's diet time. Nobody's growing a quarter of an inch.
We're gonna go over the rock and rub our tail and shrink our tail.
Yeah, they keep filing it down or something. They got to figure it out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Had many fist pumps on 4. Yep. Ours is 13 and 3/4. But yeah, there's a bunch of them, and you know when you pull that fish in the boat too, Mike. It's it's on.
Yeah, you're right. Like a 3.
Oh yeah, that'll catch you beating in the parking lot. Sorry, Aaron, but yeah.
Put a few weights in the belly while you're at it.
Yeah.
I have seen some strange looking tails on fish though.
I've seen some
them
perfectly trimmed tails before.
Perfect oval.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that fish had some work done on them.
Yep.
Made somebody some money. But all right, man, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Great giveaway once again.
Man, we rocked this tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up too, guys.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. Really appreciate that. Once again, go show some love to these companies. Evolve, Baitworks, Cumberland Pro Lures, Hawgz Custom Baits, Titty's Jig Works. These are the companies that support us. So just go give them a like. They would greatly appreciate it. And we greatly appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back next time. Same place, Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Don't know what guest I'll have. It's probably going to be the MPFL winner, hopefully. So we will see you next time. Tight lines. Hope you catch them out there in the water. Till next time.